The recording. Well, welcome back to D&D with Sunday's group. We have still yet to manage to come up with a name for this lot, but we are back for session 14, the Adventurer Struggle Part 3. With that in mind, we return from last time. If I recall correctly, God, it feels like it's been a while since we last played. I'm trying to remember here. What was our last session?
I believe we were just going around getting
Hider and
information.
Zilpip, as far as I know.
Yeah, that was the... Yes, that's right. That was the start of the session. We came back to you lot with the lycanthrope werebear causing your ship to be kind of slightly destroyed as you lot decided to head up after a burial would be taking place, killing or at least maiming the bear enough to cause you lot a chance of distraction to escape. As you lot would board your ship and reach back up towards the top with a rush. The party would end up, if I remember correctly, for the most part, splitting. Though you lot would end up coming together under meeting with Regan Utham, learning a bit about the expedition coming up, as well as a couple of other little pieces of information for those who took notes and recall. However, though as that conversation would go unpleasantly with Kez finding out he was being declared a princess in the lands of Regan Utham in exchange for Zilpip's own teaching and dean work at the academy. Kez would end up heading back to the ship while Ned spent most of the time on the ship protecting the goose eggs while sleeping and relaxing. With Kez returning, Eider was left with Dom and Regan Utham and Zilpip. As Dom and Regan Utham would take the room for themselves, the dean's office, the other two would find themselves in the hallway in a bit of a spat where we watched for the first time in truly a historical moment someone who had the willingness to talk back to Zilpip and tell him no. A truly dwarven stubbornness as Eider continued to basically turn down every opportunity Zilpip would offer. Though the party would end up splitting further from here, with Eider returning back to the ship, leaving Zilpip both annoyed, confused, and slightly angry. Dom would be left with Regan Utham to finish their checkup. With that, the party had decided last week to take some downtime since we did not have session, having about a day's worth of downtime, as the party would split up with going down the list here, going down my list here. Kez spending his time going and getting a jeweler's kit, as well as beginning and working on repairing jewelry around town and making unique pieces of his own. At which point, you made a decent amount of coin from the group, from the people that would come to your guys' ship, setting up a little stand at the front of the airship as you were working, with locals coming and going. You seemed to make a decent amount of coin, hearing a couple of stories, but nothing that seemed to catch your attention, Kez, as you would continue through. I believe Eider, if I remember right, you were the most active of the bunch, doing your research, learning a few things here and there. I'm not going to share too much for this, as that will be more for you to discuss with the party, but as you headed off into town to explore and learn a few things, you'd return back as we with your practice of forging and crafting of your lyrium spear with a little bit of blue colorium. Though the melding would go successfully, you would learn a few things that would cause both, I suppose, a interest as well as lacking for what this item will be able to do in the future, depending on. But with that, we come back to the end of your action, Eider, as you finished up working on your spear, completing this. Give me a second. As you would kind of head out of the ship, leaving Kez behind at the ship, leaving Ned behind, and heading towards not the outskirts of town, but towards where the burial was being held, the exit of the mountain, and the massive opening in the cliffside. As you kind of came to the edge, setting some scraps of blue lyrium that you had collected together off to the side, the very poignant edge, to just enough to where you're not too concerned anybody could accidentally walk next to it. As you step about a few hundred feet away and begin to try throwing some of your magic into it, as you kind of spew the tiniest bit of raw magic towards the material, an explosiveness begins to happen. As the blue lyrium begins to go from this bluish color to red to black and then begins to expand out, even these small shavings seemingly supercharged with magic. Are you going to try and eat this, or are you going to let this, or see what happens? As
I
you,
guess I give it a 50-50.
Mhm.
Because I guess it depends on how much in danger I actually feel like in the moment versus like.
As you watch the magic kind of swelling around it, it is starting to crack the ground underneath it and starting to like pull it towards it, almost like creating a small black hole of sorts that is starting to pull not only physical objects around it in its direct vicinity, but at magic as well out of the air as you start to see little bits of blue crackling lightning being sucked towards the center of it.
Oh shit. Yeah, definitely time to pull the panic button, I think.
Alright, are you eating this then?
I'm gonna attempt to. We'll see how well that goes.
Alright, what's the roll for this?
There isn't one.
Okay, let me double check something real quick then. I'm gonna roll something on my own end here.
Good old lyrium.
Okay, I'm gonna
everyone
ask,
called it
do you
a
have
lesson
48
with
spell slots worth of room in your diet, Eider?
48? No.
Mhm. Okay, so give me a D3 roll. As you realize, looking at the magic as it begins to continue to kind of increase, even as it is currently, you don't feel you would be able to absorb it, even as you kind of watch this go on. Alright, a 1. Give me a D23, please. Or pick a number between 1 and 23. 14. 10, 11, 12, 13. You lucky bastard. No, hold up. Alright. As the lyrium begins to infuse, pulling the magic in, as it seems to almost begin to tear and crackle all around it, people kind of distantly are starting to turn and look as this thing starts to float up in the air. Many starting to kind of panic and turning to run as they see this magic kind of expanding, not knowing what it is. Guards starting to rush over as you look around Eider. Just as they begin to get about 60 or so feet from you, as they start kind of coming down in small squads, you suddenly watch as the black ball expands out almost to about another 20 feet out, as if this translucent light seems to be trying to pull and eat and absorb everything. It seems to then pull back in on itself and explode out. And a second. 53 gems begin to rain from the sky as just from as if nowhere, ranging roughly as you can manage to see between emeralds, rubies, sapphires, opals, all sorts that begin to drop onto the ground, each unique in their own form as they kind of start to shower onto you. A few moments as this begins to happen, the guards kind of the ones in the front seem to kind of come to a stop, looking confused and just kind of start to walk away. A few kind of eyeing you, but as the danger seems to have passed, nothing seems to happen.
I start, in true dwarven fashion, picking up all the fucking gems I can get a hand of.
Yeah, as you start grabbing them off the ground, picking them up, you feel as each one you pick up, your body begins to absorb, and each one you pick up absorbs magic or a spell slot. as the spell is taken away from the gemstone, and the gem turns to what looks to be just a solid piece of glass.
Damn.
You know, hey,
What
listen.
happens when I'm full? Does it...
Your first experience with lyrium is not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Do you want to find out? As you start grabbing them, as you kind of go over, how many can you get?
I've got 6 left over at the moment, because I was stopping myself off. So...
As you manage to get a couple, or manage to finish off grabbing 6 of them, turning into perfectly identical versions of like glass balls, or glass-shaped versions of the gemstones. As you go to pick up the 7th one, give me another D3. Oh no. Alright, now give me 2D100 rolls. We go into the docket table. Okay. Let's see. 6 on 40. Man, you have the luck. Oh, I don't know what this is. All right. As you go to pick up the gemstone, the magic seems to expand out, and as if it starts to wrap around your body for a moment, as if trying to be absorbed, it seems to dissipate into the around you, out into the air, as the gemstone itself turns to glass. Fucking kidding me.
Is there a way to like study this effect? Is like it's getting absorbed? Is it just like because like is it still lyrium or are they just glass now?
They look as you look at them. Give me an appraise check. See what you can tell about it.
All right, with Dwarven Cunning, it's 25.
25. As you kind of look over the glass, now what was formerly a some sort of gemstone, kind of trying to sense if there's any sort of magic, looking for any signs of it. It seems as if the effect, this is no longer lyrium. The magic, what seems to be causing the gemstone or these pieces of glass to change is the magic from the lyrium itself. It seems that each gemstone, from what you can tell, has kind of gathered the magic around it to change it into a almost give it an illusionary effect. As you are picking it up, you're basically removing the spell because of your spellfire ability, from what you can tell.
Gotcha. This feels like nuclear fallout if I leave it for some poor fucking commoner to come across it.
There are people that are starting to kind of come over, and many looking at the like pile of gemstones just lying on the ground.
Yeah. I'm gonna vent my spellfire real fast and like try and neutralize the rest of them.
Okay.
Because I don't know what happens if a normal person touches it, and it seems like a bad juju.
Okay. As you start to vent, send no. As you start to kind of vent out vent out the raw magic from your body, assumedly kind of taking a few steps away from the gemstones to avoiding the chance of any potential leftover lyrium still being in the area. Give me a second to roll something. Okay. As you kind of finish up, you do see a couple of what looks to be young frost giants. Though young, they do still seem to tower over you at about 7 feet tall each. That are kind of seemingly coming over. A group of young males, what it looks like, many of them seemingly looking at the gemstones and kind of like staring at you as they like seem to be not walking quietly per se, but seem to be slowing their steps down, trying not to be as noticeable. As you can tell, they're about 70 feet out from you, and just try, like, every time you kind of look over, they seem to kind of stop and just kind of start talking to each other, and then when you seem to turn away, you notice that they seem to keep getting closer.
Gotcha. There's like sign, like gesture, like I like noticeably like pick up the gem and like show them that it just turns to glass the second I like touch it.
As you hold it up, one of the young giants just kind of looks at you and kind of comes forward and goes, How do you And as he speaks in almost perfect common, he goes, "How do you keep turning stones to glass?"
It was an experiment with lyrium. I'm trying to neutralize the rest of them. The rest of these are normal glass. They just look like gems.
He kind of looks at you, and you see him kind of raise an eyebrow and go, we're not coming here to steal your gemstones. We're just checking it out,
Oh no, I'm just trying to make sure you don't touch it because I have the ability to neutralize it. I don't know what would happen if somebody that didn't touched it, and because it was involved with lyrium, some weirdness could happen. So,
whatever.
Warning you ahead of time.
Okay, Mr. Dwarf, if that's what you say, if you think it's all about, by the way, the term dwarf, as you hear it, you'd recognize this as a very common slang term for your individual race. It's a term usually used for shorter individuals. Most often associated with a disease that is commented to make other races short, so it's not a great terminology. Snowbeard is more of the common term, what you'd expect.
Hey, it's still better than slave, at least.
That's true. As he kind of looks at you and he just sighs and goes, "Fine, whatever," and just kind of turns and walks back over to his group as they start to walk away, kind of every once in a while looking back to see if you're still paying attention, and when they kind of see you looking over, watching them walk away, they continue on their way.
Yeah, like say, "Hey, son," and like, "Here, catch," and just like chuck him one of the fucking glass things. I was like, "There you go, fuck it, I don't care."
Now, as you toss one of the orbs to him, he kind of turns and grabs it and looks at it and goes, "It is." Kind of pokes it and kind of tosses it to his buddies as they start talking and joking about it. And the kid waves as they start walking off. But they walk off. They seem to walk off with it, leaving you with the rest of the gems, in air quotes, lying on the ground. As you begin to kind of vent out the spells and begin to work through them one by one.
Yep. I'm gonna do 17 at a time, at least.
Yeah, as you begin to do this, though, as this, we cut back to the others, as this black ball of, like, lyrium energy and magic begins to get sucked in. Kez, give me a wisdom check real quick.
You got it. Wisdom check. I'm still on editing. Give me a second.
No
Save
worries.
changes. View sheet. You said wisdom's check?
Check, yeah.
Gotcha. But, hold on. I've learned my lesson. Where's my good dice? There you are. My Sauron dice. Eight.
Good dice, man.
Yeah, right. Fuck you, Sauron dice.
As you are kind of sitting there at your little stand that you've kind of mocked up, working away at a bejeweled necklace, Kez, and putting some gemstones into the to the inlay. A customer kind of standing over you as they watch you kind of polishing and moving a bunch of stuff around on the piece that you're working on. As they begin to look down, or as they kind of look over at you, out of a glance of your eye, you see as the sudden flash of black light seems to expand out over towards where you'd seen Eider walking off to earlier. As this does so, you watch as all of the gemstones on your little table and display suddenly turn to glass. Almost immediately, including the one you're currently inlaying for a customer who just paid you about 400 gold pieces. As they just kind of look at you and then look at what was a bright red gemstone a moment ago, and then look up at you again.
I just look at them and I look at the gem, so confused. What just happened? My stock. Oh my god.
The giant looks at you and kind of looks at the gemstone again, still very confused, and goes, "That's a cool trick. How do you turn it back, or when do you turn it back?"
I didn't do this.
Oh, of course you did. Yeah, don't fool around with me. My mother's necklace would be. This is an artifact from my family. This would be horrible.
All right, let's. This is not good. I'm like thinking to myself, like, oh shit, this isn't good at all. You know, what would you? I know, like the person paid me 400 gold coins to, you know, do repairs. How much is the thing actually worth?
Give me a praise check.
5. Good fucking god.
With your jewelry background, from what you'd roughly guesstimate, probably around 1,000 to 2,000 gold pieces. It's a rough window. Those were nice gemstones. They're well cut. The gold's a bit old. There's a little bit of there was magic in the item. There definitely isn't now.
I am sorry to say this was not me. Something. All of my gems have also just turned to glass. Although this is not fault of mine, I will pay you back for this mishap. How much was your necklace worth?
Looks at you with like almost complete confusion on his face and goes, No, you don't understand. That's not for me. That was going to Regan Utham as a gift from my father for his marriage. That's... You're kidding, right? You didn't actually... The gemstones can come... You can get the gemstones back. Like, this is some magic trick you clerics do.
I don't deal in tricks, sir. My entire stock, as well as this necklace here, has just turned to glass. This is no joke. I have lost everything, and you have also lost the gems in this necklace.
Kind of looks at you and goes... You see him kind of lean down and like pull into a bag of his, a little bag on his belt as he kind of like starts digging through it, and he pulls out a bunch of little glass balls and goes, "We've been robbed!"
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna report this to the Regan himself. Yeah, and he just kind of takes the necklace from you and goes, "No charge. I'll have this taken care of.
At least take your 400 back.
I planned on it." As he takes the coin off the table.
Yeah, exactly.
And turns and goes, looking at the like golden lane, like where the gem's still put in now, but now just glass. And then kind of looking at them and kind of whispering to himself as he walks away. The last thing you hear him say, "I'm gonna burn that individual's soul in a fire that they'll never forget."
My God, all my freaking gems. Oh my God. How much did I actually spend on these?
Only about 100 gold pieces, because you went. Most of them were uncut beforehand. You've been basically polishing and cutting them. These were probably worth almost 3,000 gold pieces worth of gems that you had.
Oh,
after
all
all the work.
Glass.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Time to take that out of my gold supply. That's more money than I actually earned from doing my repairs.
Well, it was only, like I said, you only paid 100 gold pieces for it.
Okay. I thought I lost 3,000.
No, that's why I said you spent most of the day cutting and polishing to clean them up to sell them to make it.
Gotcha. I turned 100 into 3. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll lower my amount by 100.
You're good.
Listen, like this isn't like the worst loss I've had monetary value, but that's pretty fucked. Whoever did this.
As we jump now to Ned. Ned, you're asleep. It's been a good night's sleep, Ned. The eggs are comfortable. Give me a fortitude save.
All right.
Oh shit.
As you kind of grumble awake, Ned, something kind of feels weird as you kind of feel the eggs in your hands. You're sitting in this nice nest next to the heater of the engine. It's warm. Eggs are quite cold. You kind of open your eyes to look down. Why does the egg look like solid crystal?
Oh God, no!
Ned, as you look down, you can see what looks to be a perfectly fossilized, what looks to be a mix of a dire goose with dragon-like wings on it, little dragon wings on it that were kind of growing inside the eggs, completely fossilized inside this crystal, now solid crystal egg. Each of the 3 eggs has a different coloration of the dragon. One red, one blue, and one white.
Staring in horror. And complete confusion.
As you stare in horror, looking
Can
about.
I turn things into crystal?
I have a question. So, the giant kingdoms are is Utham's realm based off of the giant currency of like sapphires, rubies.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a giant country hunter.
So would that mean also all of our money that we've been earning? Okay.
Nope. I would have mentioned that otherwise.
The only upside is that in trade, I've been dealing in some troll currency. Not a lot, but a little bit.
Well, I mean,
as
we've been dealing with giant stuff, but our money hasn't changed at least.
As Ned, you look down at the eggs, kind of you're pulling yourself out of the nest and kind of setting them all down, tearing the nest up to see if the eggs are somewhere else. Maybe someone's playing a prank on you. You know, maybe this is a joke. As you kind of like move out the entirety of the bottom storage looking for the eggs, as you can't find anything. Heading up, looking around, it's just you in the engine room.
I just go storming up the stairs.
As you go rushing up them, stomping hard on the stairs, looking on the second floor, there's no one on the ship that you can see. As you kind of look about, kind of sticking your head in everywhere looking, no one's around. As you head up to the top floor, still nothing. And as you finally kind of pop your head out of the ship, looking down, you can hear Kez, I imagine, not crying, but like silently, kind of trying to figure out something like what's going on, whispering to himself.
What the fuck? All my gems, they're glass. It's been hours.
I'm still just holding the eggs in dismay.
As you look out, kind of on the top of the ship, Ned, you see as a bunch of gemstones start raining down over in the distance, kind of sparkling, seeing the small stature of what you assume is Eider, being the only snowbeard you've seen kind of out and about, and being with your crew. As you see these gems kind of just raining down on him, some guards kind of that were rushing over towards him, suddenly coming to a stop and turning and walking away.
I would like to go that direction.
Well, as you climb down the side of the ship, you see as Kaz seems to be down there looking around at his gemstones, like staring at each one, trying to like polish them to get the glass off, seeing if there's anything he can do, casting any spells that he can, looking through a spell book to figure out if there's something that like some curse that he doesn't know about. As you walk past with the 3 eggs in hand, Kaz looking up, you see as Ned holds what looks to be 3 eggs with. Almost immediately, you can see the shadows of what look to be some sort of figures inside them.
Kaz will just feel very sad, and also be kind of in his mind be like, "Oh shit, the eggs too." Oh no! Wait, where's he going? Do I notice anything in the direction in which Ned is going?
As you look over, as Ned is starting to just walk past you with the eggs in hand. You see Eider in the distance as he is what looks to be standing over a pile of gemstones right now.
What the fuck? I'll pack up my glass and make my way over there as well.
You quickly shove everything into your bag and kind of follow after Ned. The 2 of you go walking over. As you see Eider kind of toss a glass oval to a young giant kid who seems to walk off joking about it. You see as he kind of starts picking up different gems and as they turn to glass in his hands.
Eider? What are you doing?
Was experimenting. Went a little cockeyed.
How so?
Well, I had some lyrium shavings and I wanted to see what would happen when combined with my magic. Turns out, it blows up.
You,
My eyes narrow.
you put magic in lyrium?
Yeah. I mean, I'm way out here. Shouldn't have affected anybody. Figured the biggest risk would be to myself.
I hold the eggs out.
I dump all of my glass gems out in front of him.
Yeah, Disney villain, villain moment if I've ever seen one. It was at this moment I realized I fucked up.
I was like, thinking very quickly, I would like to reach down and pick up one of Kes's gemstones.
As you pick up the gemstone, it's a solid piece of glass, just tiny. And very, surprisingly, as it doesn't take even an appraisal check, with your dwarven background, you immediately realize these are well cut, these are clean, these are polished, and these were high quality before they turned to glass.
Worked hours on these.
Ned slowly starts to reach for the bonk stick.
So I'm gonna do my own experiment. I'm gonna grab one of these, my glass gems, and touch it against one of the ones that are still, one of the crystals here that are still infused with this magic. See if there's a chance that it could flow back into this and make it back to what it used to be.
So you kind of lean down, grabbing the gem, one of the glass gems, and with the smaller ones, and kind of like set it on top of the bigger one. As you do, nothing seems to happen, as it just kind of rests there. Though I will say the disenchantment or the loss of the illusion on the glass bauble stays as a gem until Ida eventually gets closer to grab it.
Gotcha.
I would like to know how you're going to fix this.
I don't fucking know. I didn't try to do it to begin with. How was I supposed to know it was gonna affect like all the way out there? I'm barely even in the city. I'm barely beside the city.
You're a snowbeard and you don't know what lyrium is?
I mean, yeah, vaguely.
Maybe we could go to the druids, see if they know anything how to help these eggs. What do you think, Ned?
I think I need to go to the druids for a different reason.
Well, hopefully you can find out if there's anything to save these eggs. Because they look to be a different color. Because they used to be metallic, right? Like gold, silver, and that kind of stuff beforehand. This is me, the player, asking the DM.
Yes. Yeah, they were noted as having different colorations from their spots, though. Yeah.
Gotcha. So this is horrible.
I agree.
Eider, you've killed babies.
Do I look happy about this?
Absolutely not.
As you see Ida kind of pick up another one of the gems, just to emphasize that it turns to glass in his hands.
Does he look happy about this?
Does Ida?
No,
I mean, you can roll sense motive, but I think he's being pretty honest with you.
I guess it can't necessarily.
Ned is very angry.
Because I know, like, lyrium, because this is arcane magic, right? Not divine.
There's pure magic.
Yeah, it's arcane versus divine.
It's magic is a good way. Is actually accurate to put it right now. Lyrium is can be affected by either. It's just it's not studied much in this age.
Gotcha.
That's why I said that's racist. The fact that Ida would not know much about lyrium, as it's not a very well studied material.
I don't think Ned knows much about snowbeards, though, so...
No, that's fair. Other than the fact that they apparently know how to use metals, so I guess anything that's a rock, you know.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, would I be able to clock if the effect that went onto the eggs is close to petrification?
Give me a spellcraft check.
24.
No, this looks to be a some sort of transmutation. The whatever was of this egg, what the materials were change to a completely different material.
Gotcha.
Ned, is there a way for you to check if the eggs are still, well, alive? The materials might have changed, but
I was just about to ask that. Funny enough.
Give me a. You can either give me a heal check or a nature check or a knowledge nature check.
Yeah, I'll go knowledge nature.
Can I aid another Ned?
You want to help Ned in that?
No,
I don't know if Ned wants your help in this situation.
I could steps forward and Ned just like sticks his hand up.
I could help. I've got a pretty decent heal.
A 20? Oh, damn. Alright, if you want to toss a heal in there, feel free.
Yeah, I'll toss a heal in there somewhere. That is a 30.
Okay. With,
Defensively just sidestep to Kez.
yeah, as, Ned, as you kind of take a second looking at the creature, looking at the eggs overall and what were formerly creatures, this is it's solid crystal. These are heavy eggs. Whatever's inside, these creatures can't be living unless they are actual rock creatures, which you've never heard or seen creatures made of solid rock before. With your check, Kez, kind of looking inside and paying attention to the body, you can see it was definitely at one point probably organs. However, when the materials were shifted, the effectiveness did not. Turns out having fleshy hearts kind of better than having a rock heart, because flesh moves. And it doesn't seem like the organs of the individual creature were able to continue to pump or move. This creature's been dead for a few minutes. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ned.
Ned's speechless.
That's what I was about to say. Ned was such a good character. This is his turning point. He's gonna become Bastion now. I can feel it.
No, I found Ned.
Ned just starts walking in the direction of the druid's place.
Alright, as Ned heads off without saying a word up towards the, what looks to be heading towards the center, kind of, stronghold, castle, academy. Kez and Eider, you watch as Ned just silently walks off. Anything you two would like to do?
Does Ned bring the eggs with him? I assume yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Still wraps his warm or cold weather clothing that he's forced to wear around it a little.
Mm-hmm.
Even
All right,
though it's
so
not living or an egg.
Ned now has a madness, and he must carry these eggs with him at all times.
Until they hatch. Yeah.
Right?
But
or
yeah,
until I can get my anger out by throwing them at something.
Aider.
As Ned kind of picks him up, wraps him around in his kind of thick leather and wooled outfit, you watch as the kind of jerking kind of holds him, almost as making Ned look as if he's slightly pregnant, as he kind of goes walking off. The slight goofiness of the display with the seriousness on Ned's face causes a little bit of a stir amongst the public who kind of watch as he walks off.
Okay. Aider, so I know you've been touching these, and they've been turning to glass as you've been touching them. I assume you're full on magic. Is that the reason why they just turned to glass? Is because you're like full and there's nowhere for the magic to go?
Nope. Tried that. It's just an illusion. They're actually glass. It's not transmuting. It's just the illusion holding it together is going away.
I see. So I assume if I touch, when I reach down and I touch one of these illusion, does it not break the illusion? I assume.
Give me a will save.
Will save. Let's have a good number, please. 13 plus 8.
Nope. It stays as a gem when you pick it up.
Dang, a 21. Wow. That's unfortunate. Oh, well, look at that. Well, how many of these stones are just left here? Well, these glass illusioned rocks.
In total, there was 53 that dropped. Eider is just kind of, I assume, just going through them one after another there.
Yeah, I've just been picking them up.
Yeah, that's the best thing.
There's 52 now. No, because one was taken away.
Correct.
I don't want people to be thinking these are legit.
Also, I don't know if they have any residual bullshit on them.
Yeah, it's probably for the best that you take care of it and get rid of all the magic around these. While you're doing that, I remember you said you were going to do some research while we were all doing our own thing. So while you do that, touching all these stones, what's the info? What'd you find out about anything?
Some upsetting news. Turns out that we're not fighting arcane casters, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Seem to be a bit on the divine side. They, as far as I could gather, they seem to follow something of a cult, not too dissimilar from what Regan Utham worships, but perverted in some way. And then the one that's really been really throwing me for a loop is that the necromancy isn't evil. It seems voluntary.
That is odd.
But they still are attacking folks, so I don't think that, gets rid of the necessity there.
No. As you know, the only way for us to lawfully bring back the dead is if they are willing, but evil souls can still be brought back willingly. If they're still doing evil deeds after they've been brought back, they still need to be put down, along with the people who are raising them. This is dangerous.
Now, near as I can tell, we need to be capturing them. So just keep that part in mind.
Capture?
Yes. They're part of a larger group, assumedly. And Regan does want, the ability to ask them more questions.
The necromancers or the undead?
The necromancers.
Okay, I was thinking you were telling me to capture the undead. I'm like, I'm sorry, that ain't happening.
No, not that part.
Yeah, okay, yeah, necromancers are fine. Yeah, we can bring them in alive if we can take them alive. I've got no issue with that. Alright, anything else besides that, these necromancers are dealing with some divine stuff?
There's possibly something to do with the lycanthropes that have been around here. What's weird is that the attacks seem to be reported as bites from like the white wolf looking creatures that we saw. And there's also been mention of a wyvern skulking around that was made out of bone.
Wyvern made of bones.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, they all gotta get put down eventually. Especially that wyvern. Lycanthropes. Either way. Seems like we're gonna have an interesting couple of days, huh?
Yep.
So definitely before we head out, I think we should stock up on, at least to deal with the lycanthropes, is get some silver equipment. What say you?
Seems like a good idea. I don't know if I'll be going with you. I think there might be an execution warrant out for me.
Well, that only matters if they figure out it's you, right?
There were a bunch of guards that rushed out immediately that saw me.
Ah, well. Yeah, that's rough, buddy. What kind of silver weapon do you want from the store?
We'll take a hammer. Wait,
Um,
no, a spear. Sorry.
Silver spear.
Yeah.
All right. Do you got like a second option if they don't have like a silver spear?
Anything will do. I'm
All
not
right,
picky.
I got you. What do you think? No, Dom is still doing their thing, but I should get something for Dom as well. It's silver. You thinking like silver knuckles, like a gauntlet? Like, what are you thinking? Like a bow staff, perhaps?
Knuckles would be the easiest for him.
Hmm.
It's harder to make bow staffs out of metal.
Hmm.
I don't know if
And
you've got a crafter that can do it around here.
and I I need to ask Ned about what I can do for him because I don't think he can use metal, right?
Druids can use metal weapons. They just often choose not to.
Gotcha. I'll go stop by to the Druid hut to see if Ned wants a silver weapon, just in case. Well, you do what you gotta do, brother. Um, I'll see you back at the ship.
Just kind of nod morosely. He's like, I think I'm just going to have a depression nap right out here in the snow.
Just make sure you don't get caught.
Yep.
Just bury themselves in the snow, just cold.
Just lying back. He's like, "Ah."
Oh, how unfortunate.
As you two kind of have your moment for kind of looking at this, Ned, we're gonna jump over to you for a second. One sec, sorry, someone just pinged me something that doesn't make sense there. Yeah. Alright, as you begin kind of heading through the city with this wrapped in a, or with the eggs wrapped up in your shirt, or in your cold weather jacket, kind of heading through the streets, many of the townsfolk kind of seem to be slightly on edge, watching as you are walking through, kind of eyeing you up. Guards kind of seem to be seemingly coming to a stop and kind of just watching as you pass by, just kind of staring at you as you do. But after about that makes sense. After about an hour or so of running through the town, you finally manage to make it to the Center Academy, where as you kind of head over towards the Druid Guild that you know, looking for the old lady who was known to work there. Let me find my notes here. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Oh, yes, Granny Apple. I remember. Here we go. Yep. Yeah. As Granny Apple was, or as you kind of head up to the store or the door of the large, or of the Druids kind of guild, you watch as it almost opens before you manage to get to the last step. Seeing Granny Apple kind of looking out at you and smiling as she does, she looks down and kind of seemingly like noticing your face almost immediately, and kind of with a sudden change of expression, she looks almost concerned as she looks at you and goes, "Oh, young Ned, what's wrong?"
I was coming to see if there was anything anybody could do, and I hold out the eggs.
She kind of looks at it and kind of looking over, kind of looks to the side, either side of the street or the road in the stronghold, and looks at you and then goes, "I mean, I've got an item that I recently got that might help, but I don't know if you're gonna wanna use it. Come on in here." And she kind of like ushers you in.
Follow in.
As she brings you to one of the back rooms, she kind of closes about 3 heavy wooden doors, kind of locking them with each with a key. As she kind of pulls out a long key ring, as she kind of goes to sit in what looks to be a simple room of just a single table with 2 chairs, a little fireplace that seems to be kind of lit, and a little bit of firewood off to the side. There are 3 chairs kind of set, as well as what looks to be bowls of some sort of stew and an area of a little like pillow to set the eggs in.
I will put them there.
As she kind of sees you sit them down, she nods and looks at you and goes, "Alright, now I'm gonna summon someone that's a little chaotic and is not the greatest of company. He's definitely an asshole, but he's very good at what he does, and the item kind of has to come with some instructions to explain it. I'm gonna say his name 3 times, and he should suddenly appear. Stand back and don't hold on to anything that might be valuable or have virginity to it." As she kind of like begins to say some strange foreign name out, reading some runes that she has carved onto the wall. Reading it 3 times. As the carving almost looks fresh, you see as suddenly out of the roots, a Zilpip kind of comes out of this light that seems to form around the roots themselves, being pulled into it. Zilpip, a moment ago, you were kind of poking your head and trying to sneak a look at what was going on with the Dom inspection and medical overview, as it's been taking quite a while. This is a little ridiculous.
Sure has.
Hey,
As you fall through, finding yourself in this tiny room with the 2 giants, Ned standing off to the side and Granny Apple looking at you with disdain. She looks at you and goes, "I was not. Now, help this young man, as you owe me. I got rid of that itch for you as you asked."
Haha. Yes, you did.
it's okay. I won't tell Kaz.
Oh. You're the nice one, huh? What seems to be the problem today, son?
Point at the eggs.
As you see these crystal eggs.
Mm-hmm. Well, what would you like me to do with these, my man? Make them into a pretty sick magic item.
Are you able to turn them back into eggs?
Oh. Well. Yes.
You see Granny Apple's eyes narrow at that.
Yeah, well, so yes, but they will still not be alive. I can turn it back into flesh and organic material, but they are dead and they will stay dead. I do have a way to fix this for you. Honestly, a little I mean, I have a way to bring them back.
Granny Apple's eyes narrows again.
Okay, listen. So, it's not conventional by any means, but they'll have all the intelligence that they were going to have in life, and they'll remember you as their mother, and they'll love you, and they may not be super alive, but they'll be your babies anyway.
I appreciate that, but I don't think I don't think Kaz would be very happy with me about that one.
Yeah? And what did Kez do to save your babies?
Well, I mean,
Tell me,
how
how long
looked at
have you
the
sit on
eggs.
these eggs, Ned?
How long has it been now, DM?
A day, 2 days?
Oh, only 2 days.
Yeah. Oh, no,
So
sorry,
you
my
feel
bad.
quite a connection.
My bad. 3 days, because you got them on the 12th. My bad. It's the 14th. My bad.
Today is day 3.
Yes. Well, I am here to fulfill an obligation. I will do everything in my power to fix this problem for you. But there's only a single way I know how to do that. And, you know, from what I've heard about Kez and his, religious theories and thinkings, he doesn't seem to have a problem with good people being brought back to life. Question mark?
Are you asking me outright, or
No, I'm saying that as Zilpip.
Oh. Granny Apple is just looking at Ned and looking back at Zilpip, a little confused on this and not really saying anything.
So listen, Ned. If you don't want this, I will buy the eggs off of you. But I'm pretty sure he'll forgive you for just bringing back geese. I mean, listen, they're not people anyway, right? What does he care?
Granny Apple's eyes narrow at you.
That's fine. I've started ignoring her.
They're more than just geese, though, aren't they? Or at least they look that way.
So they do have little dragon wings, yeah, that you can kind of see that are slightly developing and tucked in close to their bodies.
I don't think these are just geese.
Okay. But you have the sweet and helpful personality about you that he may believe that you thought they were just geese when you brought them back to life.
You know, you're so persuasive, but I do think I should
tried
at
it.
least ask Kez.
Granny Apple looks at you and nods and goes,
If
"One
it were
moment."
right, you know, I don't really care at this point, but
Granny Apple
Kez
will
also
begin.
doesn't like the dead.
Granny Apple will begin to chant, creating the light to come once again around the tree roots. As Kez, you suddenly see what looks to be a small fruit bat suddenly fly right up into front of your face. And then suddenly its eyes begin to glow, and you hear on the voice of Zilpip, Ned, and a third person you don't recognize immediately talking.
I knew when I woke up this morning there was gonna be some horse piss.
I imagine at this point, still going through the gems as he sees you looking at the bat. You hear from the bat Granny Apple's voice suddenly go, "All right, you're the Kesnanok fellow that was sitting out front talking to the young man, right?"
More the lack of talking, but yeah.
I appreciate your honesty, young man. I got an individual here. His name is Zilpip. He says something about you got a problem with undead.
I got a big problem.
I'm giving you your chance to weigh in, as your friend seemed concerned as she looks to Ned and ushers for him to speak.
All right, well, what's the question?
Well, your good friend Zilpip here told me there is a way to get my eggs back, but I'm not sure if you're gonna be very fond.
Well, so literally the only real issue here is, I mean, yeah, I'm not really fond of people bringing back the dead, but if the soul is willing, that will do a great part of me not wanting to instantly evaporate whatever comes out of this.
Cool.
If the soul, if the
Heard,
soul,
Chef.
if the soul
I'll
is
look at Zilpip.
willing, it's
Can we
all
ask
right.
the dead egg soul?
Sure fucking can.
Granny Apple begins to kind of let the spell let loose, and the bat begins to go wild in your face, Kez, as it starts to fly away in shock that it was so low to the ground and in front of
Ah,
person.
shit.
Like freaking out, and it goes to straight up to the roof. You watch as like a few inches in front of you, something comes dropping to the ground as some like dust and rock where it seems to like land on it and kind of latch onto from the top of the cave.
I've never liked bats.
Granny Apple looks over at Zilpip and Ned and goes, "I lost the connection. The magic is much older than I. I don't know. It's very unstable. But I'll leave you two to do your ritual. I want nothing to do with this small one's weird antics. I know I saw what you did in the academy. And she just kind of gives you a glare.
No, I did.
And starts to kind of pull out a keychain, and like starts unlocking the doors as she walks through them, locking them behind her.
The door shuts. Like, nice lady.
Very nice lady. She checks in on me at the weirdest times.
I can still hear
Truly
you.
just- Inconvenient. Fucking sick. Let me make sure.
God damn it.
Make sure I got this.
At least, well, Kez didn't eat the bat, so we're good. Don't worry.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't eat that soup.
Sick. Here's what I'm going to do, Royce.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh, you're typing
I'm
something. Got you. Ah, the fear and concern.
Ned just eagerly staring at Zilpip.
Zilpip's eyes are beginning to glow as he's like putting on a full show as if this is some grand spell he's putting together.
I also find a bowl of something that Granny Appleseed left in and smoke it.
Oh, that was stew. Okay.
I think
Smoke
there were
some
the other
stew.
things, too.
Oh, yeah, she had stew left in the room. But yeah.
Hell, smoke some stew.
Not even involved, like completely encompassed into the what as Zilpip begins to like summon little floating skulls around the room to start dancing and chanting, fire kind of coming from their eyes, all part of the show. The room going dark, you know, your Disney soundtrack going off for any Disney villain, as Zilpip begins to tell people about how his life was so hard, and he did not totally cheat that person out of their inheritance.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
But as you do so, and as the little gooseling spirits, like little blue lights begin to erupt from these eggs and start to appear as if a little actual gooselings, Zilpip begins to speak strangely in a strange tongue that you're not familiar with, Ned. As he starts making all these random noises, the weird blue lights coming off the eggs begin to dance and bob almost as if they're responding. And as Zilpip kind of comes back, opening his eyes and looks at you, you watch as the eggs begin to kind of crack and slowly shatter as the spell begins to go off. A shroud kind of enveloping around each of the little necks of the bodies as they plop out of the crystallized eggs, landing on the table. As the shroud kind of envelops around their necks, they seem to stand up and look as if they're perfectly healthy and normal.
Real quick, because it does mention in the thing, I'm just going to send you a message of what type these are going to be.
As you watch the skulls disappear, the ritual kind of, the magic spell circle on the ground begins to dissipate. The light in the room seems to kind of come back, as Zilpip kind of finally seems to almost allow the magic in the room to dissipate, as if he seems to let go of the spell. Ned, the stew does not smoke. No matter how you try, there's nothing in there.
Or at least inhale a little bit of steam.
Oh, yeah, you definitely burned a lot. Some of the bits of fruit that were in the soup seem to kind of char a little bit, giving a sweeter smell to them, but otherwise, yeah. Don't worry, that happens soon. You'll be fine. Alright, are you looking up still, Zilpip?
Yes, I'm messaging you right now, sorry.
Yep. his secrets.
Yeah.
Give it a moment. Let's see.
Me as the player just freaking out because me as the character trusting Zilpip.
You're fine! I don't know what you mean. You're perfectly in good hands.
It's like I'm sitting here with the angel and devil on each shoulder.
Like, you shouldn't do this, but he could give you so much, but you really shouldn't do it.
You're more like sitting in a room with Hannibal Lecter here.
Surely walking around with undead dragon gooselings isn't going to be an issue.
Alright. As the gooselings kind of come out of the eggs, you watch... Oh!
Oops.
Was that you or me?
My bad. Yeah, no, that was me. My bad.
Oh, okay, because I actually had console command at the same time, so I was like, wait, does console command on Discord work now? No, as you begin to see each of the three dragon gooselings kind of pop up, their wings kind of expand out. The one in the center seems to go from a reddish coloration of feathers to begin to turn to gold, and its scales kind of start to flow through or come into a brighter shine as the feathers kind of get moved around, the body almost healing itself as it stands up. This slow gooseling seems to look about a couple inches bigger and wider than the other two, as it seems to kind of look over towards you, Ned, and stares at you. It seems to almost kind of, for a second, pause as if pondering, and then as it starts to run over to you, so do the other two follow after, and it starts to nestle up against your leg as it plops off the table.
I give them just all of the pets.
As you do, they are surprisingly slightly scaly, with a bit of the feathers, with the feathers kind of coming in loosely, some of the feathers falling out as you pet them. The creatures seem unbothered by it as they look up at you.
Literally Daenerys Targaryen right here.
Aw, this is so
right?
sweet.
I look up at Zilpip. They're even more beautiful than I thought they were going to be.
Congratulations. You have 3 healthy baby things.
Granny Apple kind of starts to unlock the door, kind of opening each one slowly. She looks over, she pops her head and seeing the gooselings and looks over at Zilpip, still with a look of irritation and concern on her face, and goes, "Alright, now back to your misgivings, you. I assume you want to be plopped back into your little area where you were staring at Regan Utham and his son?"
Yes. Back at my peephole, please.
She kind of, as you
Like,
see,
look over and then look back like, wait a minute.
and he just nods and sighs and goes, "You disgusting! If Regan Utham didn't hire you," she kind of like bites her finger and like spreads her blood across the runes, pulling back, and then begins to kind of chant once more. The bluish light kind of comes in like a fluid around these vines. Zilpip, you feel yourself being kind of pulled towards them as Granny kind of looks at you and smiles and goes, "Alright, just jump."
Woohoo!
As you find yourself sucked back in, you find yourself back at where you were a moment ago.
As Zilpip jumps, he hears me go, "I'll vouch for you with Kaz."
Oh shit!
Thank you.
She looks over at you and kind of looks at you and goes, "Alright, I'd get out of here before Regan Utham comes down. I know he's in a irritable mood since he's been doing an appointment for a full day."
I mean, as long as he doesn't want to experiment with the kiddos, and I gesture.
She kind of looks at it and goes, kind of shakes her head, and she holds the doors open and kind of ushers you out, handing you what looks to be something kind of tightly wrapped as a thin, long stick. She kind of seems to tuck it away into your hand as she walks you through the door. You can add a joint from the Borealis, from the Cold Thorn Guild. As you head out, we're gonna jump away from you for a moment. As Sen, What are you up to in the background? Are you still doing your painting just to check?
I imagine my paintings are done. That's what I've been doing for like a couple days now.
Mm-hmm. That's why I was
I'm just
asking.
kind of like randomly letting people buy them or just kind of take them because I don't really care. I'm just kind of spreading my little paintings to the world, spreading my fame.
As you are kind of hanging out down towards the portal, handing out paintings as people kind of come and go, offering them to some who are willing to buy them, but others are just willing to take them. As you kind of stand there watching a lot of this go down, as you kind of see the whole interaction of Eider's situation, the explosion of lyrium, feeling about yourself after seeing him kind of pat himself down after a few moments, or when looking at the gems that seem to rain down, as you kind of look yourself over, finding nothing wrong, nothing changed, no items lost, as you look over at Eider now. Now, at this point, after you've kind of been waiting and watching, guards come by, people come by, finishing up the last of the orbs or these gemstones that he seems to be grabbing as he watches the magic dissipate from them. Kez standing over them. Are you wanting to do anything, or are you just kind of continue to watch this and kind of wait and watch as people come through the portal or go through it or go through the portal?
I mean, when I inevitably see Eider just lay down in the snow, I feel like he needs to be checked on.
Yeah, as you watch as he finally comes to the end of it, laying down, as Kez is still, I imagine, kind of looking at his little glass gems, thinking about any magic he can figure out.
Remember, I was good. I was walking off to go get to Ned.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. You went to go chase after Ned. Yeah. As you look over, seeing Kez walk off, Eider now kind of laying in the snow, so you walk over. Seeing him kind of laying there, a little bit of steam kind of falling or coming off of his body, laying in the snow as the sweat kind of drips down from his face.
Small beard, okay?
For now.
Why not be okay later?
I don't think there's gonna be later.
Why not?
There's a non-zero chance that the gyms of the city have just kind of got turned to glass. And it's at least 75% my fault.
Can I, check my coins?
Yeah.
I have, a weird mix of calorium and...
As you take out your gems, looking at the coin, the giant coins and the calorium coins, they look all to be the same.
Sen's coin's fine.
Just kind of looks up, thinks for a moment, frowns, goes, huh. Oh.
Sen was only right over there.
That Sen points about 200 feet back over where a couple of merchant stalls that are now empty are kind of set up, where a lot of foot traffic's kind of coming through from the portal a few hundred feet away.
Pauses, thinks, sits up, goes, huh. Thinks for a moment more. I'm gonna go to a jewelry stall real fast. Let's get to the bottom of this. So you can't catch magic, right?
Not fancy learn magic.
Right, it's just the calorium.
What troll believe happens?
I just kind of nods. Well, I already established that that lyrium doesn't interact with troll magic.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did notice that my companions both happen to be, magical of sorts. They're both the ones that bad juju happened around. Maybe it's just spellcasters. And I might not die in the immediate 25 minutes or so.
DM, since I've been at the market stalls and around, do I know roughly where Kez was doing his stuff?
Oh, just right in front of his airship. Yeah, he because of the fact that the portal itself has kind of a long line of airship ports to be set up off the side of it. It's common for merchants that are traveling to just set up right next to their ship. It's not as great of a location because unless you're docking, there's no real reason to be over in this area, but Some people do walk this direction on occasion.
I'm just gonna look at Eider, look at the shop, look at the airship, which are all in very close proximity to each other, to where Eider was doing his thing.
How close is close? Because there's like
About 600 feet away is roughly where you'd see the airship. It's the tip of the airship would be parked.
I just kind of like shrug and say, "Look, I didn't expect it to go to like that far. It was all the way out here."
Weird color rock do weird things. Weird direction.
You're telling me? I was just told that it explodes. Wasn't aware that it.
Want check stalls? See if anyone else was affected.
Sure. Can we politely not tell them that it may have been me?
Send no understand what did anyway.
Okay.
As you kind of start heading down the stalls, kind of heading towards the portal and back and over towards the airships. A lot of the stalls at this point have been kind of ditched due to the explosion, scaring a lot of the merchants either onto their airships or to run away in general. But as you start kind of walking down, you start to notice some of the airships that seem to have large crystals out in front of them or on the sides of them are now smoking or completely just not emanating any sort of light or any sense of actual activation or movement. As you kind of notice, a couple of the other stalls that are set up next to the ships that have these massive crystals to kind of power their airships, they seem to have the most affected. As you see, many of the items, even the mundane items, turn to glass. One salesman that sells what looks to be spoons and forks made out of bronze, all of it looks to be made to glass. None of it magical, from what you can tell. But as you head further down, finding one of the airships that's old school would be a light term to say that this airship looks like it's designed to fall off the side of the cliff and hopefully catch the wind before it hits the ground is probably the best way to describe it. The airship itself does not seem, or the stall that seems set out in front of it. The old giant that's kind of working at it looks over at you a lot as you walk over, kind of as looking over his goods. All of them seem to be fine. If you what looks to be just mundane random items for your household, a couple of pots and pans, what looks to be a couple of bars of metal and such.
Like try and flash him like a really like strained smile.
I actually, Sen will actually buy a cooking set. I need one for the road. Never got one.
He just looks at you and just kind of looks you up and down and goes, gold piece.
There's gold piece.
He kind of leans down and grabs out of a bag of a heavy leather satchel and kind of tosses over to you. As you kind of open it, it's full of cutlery that's really refined, but this is definitely not stuff you'd find in a normal kit. This looks to be a bit more custom made for someone who's more like skinning, eating wild animals, rather than necessarily just for preparation work around the camp.
Perfect.
Like a hunter's kit,
Yeah, mix.
And then I guess I'll just keep walking with Eider, and I'll ask Eider if he's seen what he's needed to see.
Is there? I'm just kind of like shaking my head and say, just want to make sure one last thing. Is there a point in time where like it just kind of stops as far as like the effects go, or like the ships that seem to be like powered like the magical crystals are just like borked through the entire fucking runway?
As you're walking, it seems to have gone all the way to the very end, which is about, as you can tell, about 2,000 feet from where the Illyrium itself was. Though, as you get further away, the effect seems to lessen. Some of the crystals looking to be just glowing a lot less than they were. And these ones not seemingly to be smoking or not activated at all. As you get to the very end, the what looks to be some of the less magically capable ships seem to be have had all their effects almost completely unaffected. Their crystals themselves seem to be almost completely fine. With a few magical items they had out in front, and if they were selling any in their stalls, seem to be completely unaffected.
Thank God our ship didn't run on crystals.
Suddenly, Eider had a realization.
this.
Oh, before I forget, Sen is carrying a painting that a certain short person never came and collected. And if no one gets it by the end of the day, I'm gonna sell it.
Don't you fucking dare!
I like it just like starts jogging back to his airship. He's like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck.
We in a hurry?
And Sen kind of lightly jogs to keep up with you.
Oh, he has to move any more than like his normal pace.
That's
I
probably.
think I can-
There
I
was
think I
a bunch of metal pipes in that ship now, huh?
I hear you kind of run back to the ship, climbing up it quickly, coming aboard. Kind of going below deck into the bottom deck. You see where the nest was that Ned has completely thrashed and thrown apart. The entire bottom of the ship, the wagon has been taken apart piece by piece, and kind of like set off to the sides. The reins seem to have been kind of broken up. The engine looks to have been completely cleaned, as if someone was like looking around in every nook and cranny of it, not like intentionally cleaning it, but just rubbing themselves against it. Incidentally, right now Ned is covered in dust. And as you kind of head down, looking around the engine, it's still warm, but as you begin to kind of like listen, give me a we'll call it a use magic device check for this, since you know enough about you've used this thing so often.
Hooray! Could I do knowledge engineering now that I've got that?
Sure.
28.
All right. Give me a second. Sorry, I had nuts in my mouth. Okay. All right. Well, one of you can't get any, and the other one's I don't know enough about your relationship to talk shit. So, I don't want to hear it from either. Okay. All right. Don't worry, Kez. You'll have nuts in your mouth soon enough.
I do not intend on ever having someone else's nuts in my mouth.
Listen, I'm not telling you whether there's someone else's or
What?
Listen, I don't know what Zopip's into. As you head in, either though, kind of looking about the ship and kind of finding the pipe that you'd managed to climb in previously, you kind of managed to pull yourself in and through. As you do, coming to that mesh that you had seen glowing before, you watch as the mesh now looks to have a couple of no, it's not snapped, but you can definitely see the threads have started to weigh, as there's little threads that are kind of like poking off like a thread or kind of like rope that's starting to kind of almost be ran bare. There's a term for it. I can't remember what the
Worn out?
yeah. Fray out. Yeah, there we go. As the it looks like it's starting to kind of fray to the side. It's slightly glowing, and every once in a while you see little bits of what looks to be like little shocks of electricity kind of going off of these frayed ends that seem to shoot off throughout the copper, causing little bits of heated copper and bronze as it does so.
Got tools. I was like between that and like heating up the wires, gonna like do some like repairs to like mend them so they're not frayed out.
You can try. As you've never seen a device like this before, this will be kind of, well, besides what you've been able to read in the book that we were given, which doesn't explain how to repair this, you will be kind of working blind, so for your own mentality. But yeah, we can do a check. So it's a D20 plus, or it'll be your craft for this. I'm just thinking what craft here. It's not a craft for a wondrous item, really. So, that's
That'd be like armor or weaponsmithing with like a minus on it.
I think so. Yeah, at that point, I think it's just gonna be whatever your highest craft check. Just do that with. Let's do a -2 to it.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Either it's okay. Sen is prepping the green paint. We're gonna fix this.
Send in the background, starting to get pull out his paint, his little brush.
No, yeah. I get the guy at the stall we met on Saturday. I get the little bowl. I get the little heat under it. Start melting the coins in the bowl.
He's just crack piping it behind me.
Yeah.
All right. So 29 total -2, so 27.
27. Jesus Christ. Okay. As you manage to taking your your metalworking tools out, and slowly, like, kind of getting your helmet off, trying to get to a comfortable spot. You start pulling the little bits of frayed ends back down, trying to lay them all back onto their main wires that they were attached to. As the magic you can see that seems to be flowing through these things causes your tools to even slightly begin to drip from the heat. Not actually like melting like physically, but you do see they do bend a little easier when you put too much pressure on, from your own tools onto these wires, causing them to almost bend around the wire. After about an hour or so, you manage to get the repairs enough to where there is no more frayed ends, but little bits of what looks to be like bronze and copper do kind of melt onto the wire that on occasion shoots bits of electricity out in the forms of raw magic, but don't seem to be thankfully hitting the edges of the engine anymore, and instead staying very close and almost looking like you ever seen those like the toys where you can like rub your hand around it and electricity will follow it?
Oh, like yeah, it's the like.
I don't know what they're called up top. Yeah, it's sad.
Like the Tesla coil looking thing.
Yeah, the Tesla coil like toys. Every time you kind of watch as it seems to kind of fret slightly, but it doesn't seem to connect with anything. Almost as if it's like trying to connect towards whatever your hand or any other object. Thankfully, though, causing no other damages. As you kind of pull yourself out, the smell of burning green or smelting metal kind of behind you. We'll come back to you lot here in a moment. Kez,
Yo.
you're in the road by yourself. Not literally by yourself, but none of your party mates are with you as you kind of head after Ned, seeing him kind of stomping off into town, angry, kind of hefty thing of eggs in his cold weather jerkin. Kind of watching, I imagine, looking about the town to see if any shocked faces, to see if there's any strange or any reactions to what just happened or anything that would be alarm, I assume.
Yeah.
Give me a spot check, let's say then.
Alrighty. Spot check. What's my modifier? A +7. Very nice. Let's see what we got today. That would be a 18.
As you kind of head through the main road, no one seems to be reacting like shocked. A couple of guards seem to be kind of talking, and as you kind of catch, they're not talking quietly as you kind of pass by them, catching some conversation about someone decided to use some strange black magic at the port that created gems from the sky. A couple of, as you see people walking about, some seem to kind of check their items, but none seem to be at all bothered or affected. But someone catches your attention as you get about halfway down the main road, as you see Ned kind of already at this point slightly jogging ahead, angrier than ever, as he seems to be heading straight towards the Druids Guild. You do happen to manage to catch out of the corner of your eye as you're starting to kind of catch up in pace. A large, medium gray, like great gray owl, Eric Cochran, that kind of almost immediately catches your mind and reminds you of the individual that had sold you the armor, the Eric Cochran named Bronze.
Huh. Alright. I guess, I'll go up to Mr. Bronze.
As you kind of...
at least assume it's Bronze. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, as you head over towards him, he seems to be kind of talking to another merchant, kind of joking about something as you approach. He kind of seems to look over and like immediately goes back to talking, and then takes a double take as he kind of slightly jumps and like stands up straight, looking at you. A slight nervousness on his face as he kind of looks and goes, Kesdenuk, right? My favorite customer. How's the armor treating you?
Oh, the armor.
Yes, the armor made by the young orphan armorer. Yes, it was quite sad, the boy, but he was quite happy for your donation. He's now training under Hrotin himself.
Oh, I sure hope that's true. Despite you selling me cursed items.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean. I would never sell anything that was cursed.
I mean, granted, it took a a little bit of gold to get a Dispel Curse to get this armor back to normal, but when I put that armor on, in which I couldn't take it off, I was very enraged with everything, really, and people just didn't seem to like me wherever I went after that.
He kind of looks up at the merchant, slightly sweating, and looks back at you and goes, you know, it's. I did kind of warn you everything in the shop was cursed, and you still were interested in buying things. I mean, it's truly your own fault as the customer.
You did tell me that after I put it on, actually.
I mean, he kind of looks at you and looks at the merchant, looks kind of like confused and slightly, almost kind of glaring now at the Bronze, and goes.
And it was really crazy how the true shop owner came in right after you left, after giving me that piece of armor. Who actually, it was him who told me that he left all the cursed items. You actually never told me at all that they were cursed.
Kind of looks at you and goes, "Oh well, no, I'm pretty sure I mentioned the bag would fall apart.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and the cloak I had for sale was I told you that was cursed. The sign clearly stating so." As he kind of like rubs his hands, I think this is just a bad merchant business dealings. I mean, I don't want to offend here. If you have an issue with any of my merchandise, I'm happy to take a refund. You just have to show proof of purchase, and of course return the item in its original state.
Okay, where's the receipt that you didn't give me?
He looks at you and goes, I'm sorry, I don't understand. What's a
proof
what's
of
a
purchase?
receipt?
Oh, proof of purchase.
I mean, the item. If you have the item itself.
Hold on. I mean, what item? You obviously took my gold and you didn't sell me the... I don't have any enraged armor anymore now, do I? So you have my gold and I don't have any enraged armor, right? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I'm saying if you can't return the armor that you say is cursed, then how am I to guarantee that the armor is the same armor and you're not just shaking me down? As he kind of looks at the merchant, kind of slightly puffing his chest out, feeling a little bit more confident.
Sir, is this man trying to sell you anything?
The giant merchant kind of looks at you and goes, I mean, no, he's buying a couple of gems from me. Mentioned some guy down at the port was looking to sell a bunch, and he said he'd buy my lot and go sell him, or go buy more from him. He pays good gold. As he kind of looks down with a raised eyebrow at the Eric Cochran.
Are his gems actually genuine gems, or do they also get turned to glass like everything else?
They look to be legit. As you look over, give a quick glance over, they all look to be normal gems.
Well, I'm glad not. There's some people that had their goods survive whatever just happened.
Giant merchant kind of looks at you with a little bit of raised eyebrow and goes, Did this Eric Cochran cause an issue?
Oh, no, this is a whole different thing, yeah. No, something happened in the shipyards and it turned a lot of our stuff into glass. It was completely unrelated.
As Bronze seems to light up almost at that comment and goes, See, he's just trying to squeeze me for money because he lost his own stuff to some freak accident. I was here. I have a full thing. I see you nothing but a scoundrel, and they're just trying to shake me.
I don't need any money from you.
Well, then be off with you. I will not take this insulting tone that you've lost your own valuables coming to me for a shakedown.
Where is this this apprentice that you were talking about?
I just told you he serves under Roten now, the monster weapon shop called Stirk up the road.
He made my weapon. I'll go ask him about him.
Be my guest, as he kind of shrugs.
However, if I find out you're lying, I am gonna want a lot of that gold back that I paid for this apprentice.
He looks at you and says, I mean, that's fair. I fully agree with you on that. As he kind of looks at the merchant, the giant merchant, he just kind of looks down, looks back at Kez with a raised eyebrow. Now complete confusion on his face, as the two watch you kind of walk off, I assume at this point.
Yeah, I wasn't really going to do anything to this guy. I mean, like I said, I'm lawful good. He cheated me, but oh well, I'll get him back one day, in a fair manner.
Are you heading to the monster weapon shop, or are you going to continue after Ned?
No, I truly don't give a shit. Listen, I got +1 armor for cheaper.
Busting his balls.
Yeah, you know.
Alright, as you kind of just
I made a
look at
nervous
him.
all for nothing, you know. I'm content with that.
As you kind of stare at him for a second and kind of start to walk down the road, making it look at first like you're going towards the monster shop as you cross the road. As he kind of watches for a second, he seems to look at the merchant and then look back over towards where you walk. And as you pass by the shop, you watch as Bronze kind of looks over at you with confusion, looks up at the merchant, and they seem to start talking about something as you continue on.
Yeah, I still want to go check. Is this the point where I see the bat come in and be like, ah?
No, the bat came from earlier when you were still over. Oh, yes, that would be the bat. My apologies. Yes, that would be correct. Because I misheard you earlier when I heard you were going to run off after Ned. Yeah, so around this point would be, yes, when you'd see the bat as you kind of running up.
Oh, I never liked bats. Alright, time to go get Ned.
As you kind of head up after Ned, heading up the stairs towards the Druid's Guild, you see as the door opens, Ned coming out. Ned, the contact high you just got, give me a fortitude save as you walk out of the guild.
This is keeping in mind nat 20, the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 11.
As you kind of come out, a slight buzz now on your from as you breathe deeply before walking, like leaving, or heading out the door. You watch as Granny Apple kind of holds it open. Kez already kind of standing at the bottom of the stairs as he looks up at you as your three little gooselings continue to follow after you.
Oh, hey, Kez.
Are these the little ones?
These are my children.
Mm. Now, Ned, taking care of children is a huge responsibility, and I don't exactly know how to take care of children such as these. However, you do have my support in assisting. I definitely am a little bit apprehensive of the undead, as you know. However, these little ones never had a story to begin with. It ended before it started, so they should get a chance at their own.
I can confirm I seen the little souls floating, and Zilpip said something that I couldn't understand. So I think they said yes.
I hope that's the case. But we'll make sure these little ones are raised right, alright? Make sure they do good.
Appreciate it.
Granny Apple kind of leans over, kind of into the doorway, looking at you, Kez, and goes, "Are you Princess Kesnanok?"
I have been resolved of those allegations. My people have said no to that. No, not princess,
So
unfortunately.
you're the cause of the potential war my grandson going off to. You're not as pretty as I thought you would be.
You know, I keep telling people that.
Honestly,
Hey,
all I see is an ugly ass man who's got more muscle than brain. I don't see.
Kesnok tears up and smiles at that. It's like, thank you.
She just looks at you with like confusion and just slightly irritation. She goes, and he's willing to. I'm gonna go smack some sense into that boy. I swear, if Regan thinks he's gonna go to war over to your ugly ass, I'm not sending my grandson to go kill some fire giants because of this.
Please, going to war over me is a fool's errand.
Shut up! You're the cause of this problem. You keep
No,
dragging
it's
on
not
that.
my. Listen, Zilpip tried to sell me.
And I heard what he came in, he told me all about his love lust and long love for you and how you two have got this strange-ass relationship going on.
I don't like him!
Listen, just stop leading him on and make it clear to him.
You should really give him a chance, honestly.
Ned.
I don't think so. I think he's rotten people, but you do what you want to.
He's a really nice guy.
He is ugly. He's got the ugliest soul I've ever seen. She just looks at Ned with just a scowl.
Ned, let's just go back to the ship. Actually, hold on, Ned. I know you're a caster, but we might be dealing with lycanthropes out in the field. Is there any kind of silvered weapon you might be more comfortable with?
I mean, there's a few I can use, but it eliminates my powers if I'm using metals. So, um, I'd rather not.
Hey, I thought I'd ask. Alright, do you want to just head back to the ship or follow along while I go purchase some of these silvered items? And
Yeah, I will go ahead and take Fluey, Shuey, and Julie back to the ship.
You see as Granny
name
Apple
them.
kind of walks out behind you two and kind of follows after she locks the door, heading towards the academy.
Alright, I'll see you back at the ship, Ned. Can I get those names typed down so I don't forget
Already
them?
did.
Oh, okay.
I do want to put out there for Druid. The metal thing does just specify for armor. It's not for weapons, surprisingly.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it's just armor. You can technically wield a metal weapon if you really wanted to.
Can't have metal touch your chest. It touches your heart chakras.
You can't wear
As
metal
As
like
I'm walking away, as you would hear. But if you find one, scimitar would work.
Alright, bye,
Ned
Ned.
kinda-
Bye, Julie,
Ned
Julie.
kind of like pondering this as he's really thinking about what kind of weapon would be really cool for him to wield.
The scimitar. Alright. Alright, time to go to the monster weapon shop, I guess.
As you do, as you're kind of starting to turn off, you watch as Granny Apple kind of seems to stop in front of Regan Utham. Are you going to stick around and listen to the conversation, or are you just going to continue on your way?
I'm not one to eavesdrop on people.
Okay. As you kind of continue on your way heading down into town, you manage to find the shop only about 20 minutes from the academy itself. As you open up what is a very simple rundown building on the outside, kind of built into the mountain wall more than it is out. A carved in stone, heavy with a bunch of bones that are kind of inlaid to show somewhat of an artistic pattern, but it's almost macabre in design as it's just bones strapped to the walls to give a framing. The windows themselves are made of bars of what looks to be bits of monsters and such. As you look in, it looks like a butcher's shop, as there are different monsters just hanging up on meat hooks. A couple of what looks to be cuts of different pieces of monsters kind of displayed out on a table. And what looks to be the the very dark-skinned, short giant, kind of looking about as he's wearing his heavy white apron, and what looks to be just normal leather merchant clothing as he goes about shopping at some strange scaled monster.
This is the what was this guy's name again? I keep forgetting his name.
Roten.
Roten. This is the man that made the hammer, right?
Correct.
Gotcha. Is there any honorifics with smiths? I can't remember either. Or is it just Roten?
In this case, the only thing he's ever had you call him is Roten, although he was the captain of the guard and was pretty much, for a short while, left hand of Utham, and is known as Utham's apprentice, as his actual title. So.
Gotcha. I mean, if he's just told me to call him Roten, I'll just say Roten. Hello, Roten. How are you faring today?
Kind of stands up, still shorter than you, and kind of looks up. His barrel chest, slightly causing the leather to, you see, crease and tear a little bit at the shoulders. His bloodied hands as he starts to wipe it off with a piece of cloth, and looks at you and goes, "I cut up monsters and deal with shit for a living. How do you think?"
Well, can't be the worst living in the world.
It's true, I could be out there fighting bastards left and right, trying to convince them that I'm a giant and not some fat dwarf.
That happened often.
Yes! People are stupid, especially dragons. They make good bacon.
Well, I've come here because my party is about to embark on another adventure of sorts, and we might run across some lycanthropes. I was wondering if you happen to have any silvered weapons with you here.
You taking that 11 gold piece expedition quest that they've been talking about?
That was the idea, but I mean, it starts at the end of the month, and we don't want to let those necromancers over at the other town get a foothold. We might head over there early just to start whacking those weeds.
That ugly wyvern that keeps flying around that mountain. It ain't pretty to look at, and I know Regan Utham's been complaining about it. Mayor Dan kept saying something about it being a seagull. I have no idea what that means, but he kept saying he was going to kill it one day.
Well, silver weapons, you got any?
I can make you some, yeah. Ain't gonna be quick. Silver isn't exactly a fun metal to work with. Wait, you looking for monstrous, or are you just looking for some base stuff that I'm gonna pull out a barrel and sharpen for you?
What's the price difference? I mean, I know you give quality.
Kind of looks at you for a second and goes, depends on what you're looking for.
So, for me, I'm just looking for something sharp. It doesn't really need to be any special. I know my current, Warhammer is already silvered, but I'm looking for something that if something needs more slashing or something that just can't be bludgeoned, I'd like something that can do either slashing or piercing. My dwarven mate was looking for a spear. I was thinking about getting something for Dom that they could use with their fists. Gauntlets, knuckles of some kind. And Ned wanted a scimitar, if available.
Kind of looks at you for a second and goes, I hope you weren't expecting me to write all that down. As he looks at his with the cloth in his hand, now the blood finally off, and looks at you and goes, not exactly a ink and quill kind of individual, but follow me into the back.
Yeah, I got you.
As he kind of turns, heading in, he looks at you kind of for a moment, looking up and down as he walks through or kind of opens a heavy wooden door. He seems to kind of almost stop for a second as he kind of pauses and looks at you again and goes, you're not the princess that everyone's like heeing and hawing about, right?
If you'd be so kind, can we not talk about that whole debacle? It's really stressing me out. Can we just talk business, please?
It is business. You're like half the reason there's shit going on.
None of it was my fault, I assure you.
Oh,
I didn't want any of it to happen.
That's the case. Never mind. As he kind of opens another door off to a side and kind of takes you into a room where there are just bars of silver, items coated in silver solid weapons. There seems to be just tons of this stuff just lying about this, a couple of shelves and barrels, as he looks at you and goes, in here, most of this is my failure stuff, no monster parts to it, but Utham told me I had to practice on something before I could touch the gloom. What you find, you can get. I got gauntlets on the top shelf for about, I don't know. It takes a second, goes, 100 gold pieces for some gauntlets. Scimitar. Kind of takes a second, looks about, and as he digs into a heavy, or a barrel full of a bunch of swords and such, kind of rummaging through it, as the DM doesn't totally look up prices here for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
It kind of hands you a scimitar and goes, that'll be about 115. You want something for your mace, you said? Or your hammer, or are you good with your hammer?
Maybe... I'll take a longsword if you got one.
He kind of digs through again, moving a bunch of swords aside as he digs about. Kind of looking, or seems to be looking for something as he does. He has 115 gold pieces. He kind of pulls one out and tosses it to you.
Alright.
And goes, alright, that's your gauntlets, your scimitar, and your longsword. What else you looking for? You said something about your another friend?
Yes, he would like a spear. Actually, no, hold on.
Silver
No, I
spear.
believe... No, I think, no, he wanted a hammer.
Kind of looks at you and goes, silver hammer.
Yeah.
Alright. You wanting that to be like on them gnome hooked hammers, or are you looking like it's a cutting style for the snowbeard weapons they use? They're smaller for like younger snowbeards. Or are you looking for like Warhammer style, like
More for combat, that's for sure.
Alright, he kind of pulls one out, a heavy Warhammer that looks to be about medium size, but it seems to be slightly heavier as he kind of pulls it and lays it on the ground. It leans against the wall with, it looks like the depiction of Regan Utham, though bald for some reason, as his face is depicted at the centerpiece of the, where the axe and the hammer meet. As Hiroten looks at you and goes, this one's, it's broken and defunct. Handle's probably worth less than anything, but I'll give it to you for 100 gold pieces.
Yeah. Everything looks good to me. So what, that's a total of...
430 gold pieces.
Yeah. I can certainly hand that over. Thank you for doing business with me.
Yeah, takes the bag and looks at you and as he puts it away and goes, if you're going on an expedition, better you have silver weapons. They do break quite easily, though. Should forewarn you. One of the downsides about working with thinner metal.
Yeah, I can understand. Hey, at least it might be easier to repair them.
You'd think. Once that stuff chips, it's a pain. You lose too much material, it becomes a whole new forging process. Ain't worth much else. That's why I don't sell most of these. They're all defunct. But they make good for paperweights, and a few mercenaries have come through and bought up a couple of them. So, oh, by the way, there was a group that I should warn you about. If you're going on that expedition, some lot calling themselves like the Smiling Demons or some such, Smiling something. He looks at you and goes, group that real jerks. They were talking a lot of crap about about that Sen fella as he was apparently spotted by them. Something about he doesn't deserve rights or that they were going to kill him or something like that. I'd love to see him try, to be honest. But careful out there.
Yeah, that seems quite horrible. If anybody tries to harm our friend Sen, I'll definitely try to put a stop to it.
He nods and goes, I don't know if they're going to go after Sen specific. Given what they said, I doubt they actually got the balls to do it. But if they're willing to take on a fight like that, and there's groups that are being attracted like that, y'all, as he kind of looks you up and down, and goes, with your armor and your weapons, you're in bad trouble if they decide they want a piece of you. More of the fact, because they're probably going to be looking to rob y'all. As he kind of takes a second, looks you up and down again, and he goes, I'd recommend beefing up a bit, or maybe keeping one of y'all awake at all times.
That shouldn't be an issue. Thank you, though. Thank you for the warning.
He nods and looks at you and goes, hey, if you bring any parts back, I'm always happy to make you something.
Of course, you'll be the first person we bring any parts to.
Well, I hope so. Ain't nobody else gonna buy them.
That's fair.
As you kind of turn, heading out the door, he kind of waves you off as he goes back to cutting away the corpse. As you
by the way, almost on that mind, did you happen to get a new apprentice?
He looks at you as you pop your head back in the door and goes, yeah, I'm weird boy. I don't know, has a strange name, runs around here. He's not bad at what he does, but not bright.
Okay. Tell him that, thanks for the bag.
Wait, you bought that piece of crap?
Yeah, I did.
Don't stick your hand in it.
I never intended on it.
And he kind of just nods as he continues, not even turning to talk to face you during this discussion as he continues chopping away at something. All right. As you turn and I assume head back towards the ship.
Yes. It is time to go back home.
All right. Heads or tails, cows?
Tails.
Wait a second, because I just lost the coin, so I'm gonna use the online one. Alright. Unfortunately, as you kind of start heading down the main road, you do spot another individual you recognize, unfortunately, seemingly going the same direction, about 30 feet or so in front of you and diagonal across the street. You see the man himself, the bane of your existence, the unwanted love of your life, Zilpip himself, seemingly walking towards the ship with purpose, not yet having noticed you.
Great. We're gonna keep it that way by not changing my speed or pace whatsoever.
As you continue on, kind of following behind, Zilpip and Kez, as you finally come up towards the ship, after about another 30 minutes of walking, you see as Eider, Ned, and Sen seem to be kind of standing outside talking amongst themselves at this point. Around the same time that, with the geese now kind of looking up, as you can kind of just see Ned, almost assuming he had just arrived, as you kind of come around the corner. Zilpip, you see your artist with his painting on his back.
It is currently wrapped up, so you cannot see the painting itself.
Sin, my friend.
Small one. I've been waiting.
Hello. I'm sorry, I was eavespeeping on the Regan. You have the paintings I ordered.
I will take off the little bundle of paintings off my back and unwrap it to show the first one, which is Kez full armored except for the helmet, fighting the. Artistically, he made it a silver dragon instead of a goose.
Incredible. These are works of art. Truly to be displayed in the world's greatest halls. How much did we agree upon for these?
Kez is just kind of staring over Zilpip's shoulder, I imagine, at this point.
No. You take.
Are you sure, my friend?
Free? Yeah, for free.
Sen does not charge for art. Been handing out art pieces all day.
Oh. Well, you are just a sweetie. Here's a little, I know you don't need it, but a little tip for you, my friend.
A tuppence for you, little boy.
I'll pull out a little bag of holding and drop it into his hand. It's heavy as fuck.
Luckily, Sen is very strong.
Incredible. There's this much money in it.
I just tripled how much money I'm carrying. All right.
Good God.
And he goes, a tip for you, my friend. Incredible.
Ned and Eider just watching in this little exchange of coin.
For your own noble, there are 3 paintings, like stacked on top of each other in the bundle.
Perfect.
Hansbro, the equivalent of a grandma handing a kid $20 saying, "Don't buy a candy bar."
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. Kez, aren't these lovely?
It makes you feel better, Hunter. None of them are you like in a dress or anything. They're all armored shots of you fighting different creatures and stuff. Because they were all drawn as Sen was following you doing things.
Despite how I feel, I gotta say Sen is an excellent artist.
I must agree. I think I'll put these over my fireplace. Yes. I do have a fireplace in this ship, don't I?
What?
No.
Are you asking the DM or are you asking your party? Or the party?
The party.
No.
Well, Sen doesn't know this, but if you take over a room, I think technically a fireplace can show up.
Wait, hold on a second.
But Sen usually doesn't go in a room. He usually just spends time like on the top deck.
I've been sleeping in the engine room with the youngins, and it's kind of like a fireplace.
You can take Ned's room. He's not sleeping.
Incredible. Then I'll be down there with you most of the time, admiring my art.
Oh my god.
Kez
I mean,
will
there's plenty of room in the nest. I'm sure they would appreciate some time with their uncle. I guess you can be their uncle since you were so helpful.
Of course. Who's going to teach them magic otherwise?
All right, this
Anyone
has
else?
become such a horrible situation that I no longer want to be in.
Kez's horror on his face as he's realizing Zilpip's not just inviting himself in, but he's offering now, or saying he's now living with Kez.
This is the worst thing that could have ever possibly happened to me. At this moment in time.
I still have some lyrium.
Hyder kind of whispers up towards Kez.
Stand down, Ader.
You
Not yet.
still have some lyrium?
Quite.
Sen is going to hand something to Kez because he felt bad about how Kez lost all his gems earlier. Sen does have a couple gems he's not using anything for. So he will hand Kez a blue spinel and a black pearl.
The Black Pearl.
The Black Pearl. I you a scurvy dogs.
Have a 500 GP market value.
Sen, I'm very grateful for this gift. I really appreciate you and all the things you've done to help this party.
I mean, Sen been carrying goose horde items no one ever asked for. That was in it.
Did we have those?
No matter.
Wait. Hold on. Pause, everybody. The only thing I needed to do to win your heart was pay you?
No.
It's a start. You happen to have 16 grand?
Yes.
Sen's gonna whisper to Zilpip, even though like the giant height difference makes it like almost impossible.
No,
Sen
you're stooping your head all the way to the ground.
yeah, like pour it out as I can, and Sen's just like, Sen understand. Good-hearted gifts go a long way in relationships.
Oh. So it's not okay. I as Sin is stooped super down, I'm just gonna climb up onto his shoulder so he doesn't have to lean over.
He'll allow it. He doesn't really care.
So money plus sentiment.
Money usually need to be item person really likes. This one apparently does gemcraft.
Gems. Okay.
As
I will slightly side-eye Kez, as this is his chance to walk away if he wants to. While
I'm out. I'm in the ship.
Kez like turns and Kez starts slowly inching his way towards the ship till he's out of view and runs to the ship to climb on, like ushering to get Ned and Eider onto the ship as quickly as possible.
Hey, come on, guys. Let's get a move on.
I don't know about that one. I think we might still be grounded.
Oh, we'll figure it out.
We will die. There's a decent chance we die if we try that one.
Why grounded?
I don't know that was the only thing that was wrong with the ship.
Oh, I make shit better if that would want.
You know what? I'm not going to question it. You made a ship. You made a wagon contort. Let's see it.
What do you know about engineering, Sin?
Troll magic weird. When you use colors along with troll painting, things happen to items you paint. When paint green, things become better.
You know, I've heard a lot about this troll magic. Sin, did you know that when you paint items black, they turn into adamantine?
Really?
Yes. Really?
Ben has never been told anything to go against this notion. We're going to try.
Doesn't black already have a set thing that it already is?
Not in this age.
Because black is tougher, ain't it?
Yeah.
Not yet, Hunter. Not in first
It's
age.
just not been noted yet. No one's but there is an outright. Yeah, I do have the rules as written already noted. It's just characters don't know it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no one's played with black yet. It's just the 4 colors right now. It's just...
Yeah, I assumed all of the actions of the colors were around, since Daka would have definitely been telling people about it.
It's just the coin colors.
I see.
I mean...
Yes, Sin. That's exactly how it works. I've never seen it in action, but I've always wanted to see a troll's magic up close and personal. Perhaps we can reformat and upgrade this ship together.
Sin does have pretty good magic. He had us all convinced he was a hat rack for like 3 days.
Send Master of Disguise.
Wow. Sin, I like you.
Send like Small Man too, even if don't really know his name.
Ah. That is fine. I am mysterious. I am the man with no name. I'm Zopal.
As Kez is like at the top of the airship looking at Eider, like expecting him to figure out how to get the ship running.
And because Zilp's interested, Sen starts laying out his 4 colors for Zilp to choose where we're going to start for this ship.
As you two begin to work,
Incredible.
Eider, Kez, and Ned, you're heading onto the ship. I assume heading into it at this point as you follow Kez's lead. As you guys kind of come to rest on the top deck, basically as you look out the window from the pilot seat, seeing the two kind of looking at the piles of coins and trying to figure out what they're going to begin painting the airship as. What are you 3 doing?
I'm probably staying behind to supervise because there's a non-zero chance Zilpip tries to like put a back door in to prevent us from leaving without him.
I don't think that's the back door he's trying to shove in.
Ayo.
Got him.
Sorry, you walked into it.
There ain't a front door to shove in.
No, he doesn't need a front door.
I want to say smart move, Eider, because I'm going to draw whatever in the ship, whatever someone tells me. If it was only Zilpip here.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, wait a minute, Sid is too innocent for this.
All right.
You're supervising, huh?
Yeah.
Eider,
Abe.
have you ever tried sugar cookie and lyrium brownies?
Oh.
Eider, you know he's got to be joking. There's no way that's real.
All right, I know like Snowbeard's like idea of metal is like very much like, you know, we love it a lot, but we're not eating the fucking thing.
My mother had an amazing recipe. She passed it down to me. I can always make it for you sometime.
I am not interested in eating just pure metal.
It's not pure metal. The metal is just sprinkles.
I'm going to emphasize how bad that hurt.
Eider just like goes to like his like the background of his head, like thinking about like how bad would your shit
with
hurt?
sprinkles on top.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, welcome
Thank
to
you.
the salty spittoon here.
Thank you, Ned.
Go.
There's like no telling how bad your shit would hurt after eating fucking metal.
Bro, your mouth
I've
alone.
had it. I used to work in a machine shop, and I did accidentally eat some burrs one time. I can tell you, that's it's bad.
And yet he still has a better sense of taste than myself. I'm a little upset about that.
Sure.
I think I've got an idea. I'm going to try and burn my tongue. Maybe that'll fix it. All right. But as you kind of see, as Zopip says this, Sen has now set out his 4 different colors out in front of him, looking at you, kind of waiting, I assume, at this point as the 2 of you talk.
Yeah, to find out what I'm painting on this ship.
I know for Hesnock, I would look over the Gieslings.
Okay.
As I assume with Ned, because I assume that's also what he's doing.
Yep.
Ned's not letting those Gieslings out of his sight at this point. Yep.
Not until we're in dangerous places.
Yep. Kez, are you doing anything in particular while you're looking over there? Or are you just giving them a health checkup, or are you just kind of watching over to see if anything weird's going on?
I definitely am trying to make sure nothing is awry. Everything's going well. So I guess a heal check
Yep.
would be for the best, just to give him a little checkup.
see how things are going. All right, let's give this dice a try. I haven't used this one in a minute.
You're not raising the next Monday party. No.
Go, the Goslings. They shall rise.
This is not half of Monster Monday, no.
This is the entirety of Monster Monday. 3-man party, everyone's a different Gosling with a different class.
God damn it.
That is a 21.
Let me double check quick wording here to make sure. Given your particular background, you would be able to tell pretty clearly, these Goslings not only are undead, as you already know, so their bodily functions are not functioning. While they are not cold to the touch, the warmth seems to be more, feel artificial, doesn't feel natural to the body. But, again, you're not familiar enough with undead, you've never walked up to a corpse that was walking around and felt it, so your understanding from that is limited. However, this doesn't feel natural in any way, shape, or form. Nothing that you have been taught makes sense.
Well, undeath is unnatural in itself.
And you can take solace in that if that's how you take that to interpret.
Hey, at least with these geeslings, I could get a better understanding of the undead as it is, nonetheless.
As you begin to kind of like watch over them, kind of making sure that they don't eat Ned, kind of a slight concern. You don't want zombie geese.
Yeah. I gotta also figure out how to, because the undead, still eat and consume. Maybe not to sate a hunger, but another desire.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta figure out how I'm gonna have to, or we're gonna have to, satisfy these guys.
I will say with your role, the other thing that you do pick up is there's something strange about the three Goslings. While Shuey and Julie don't seem to have anything unnatural at first, you notice that they follow identical to Fluey's movements, just almost like 2 seconds after every time, and it's perfectly in sync.
Gotcha. So, an inference that Fluey is the, leader of these three. If anything, the one who controls them.
The largest of the three, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so if any influencing is going to be done, if you influence that one, you'll influence all of them.
Mm-hmm. As you kind of focus on this, Ned, are you just kind of watching over them, making sure they don't do anything, get into trouble, or get themselves eaten?
Yeah. Also, making sure that they know that I am their caretaker and provider.
They do follow you around like a mother goose. Like, as you walk around, they seem to, run to your sides. Fluey seems to run first, and the other two immediately follow after to stand right next to you. But as the two of you begin to kind of watch this, Ned kind of walking around, trying tricks and throwing them the occasional bits of food from the captain's quarters, like little dining stash, some of the hardtack, as well as some of the meat rations. Down below, we jump back to Eider, Zilpip, and Sen, who I see are planning to currently paint a large jet engine of sorts onto the airship, which I'm concerned about. So would someone like to fill me in?
Flame racing stripes with yellow.
Yes.
Flame racing stripes. Okay.
And then we're doing single colors for the pipes and stuff, because those are just me enhancing them.
It's taking all of Zilpip's self-control not to put a modern technology minigun on the front of the ship.
Zilpip, you don't have the metal.
I certainly I know that.
But
I will also say
it's not
the invention of
the
steel.
metal's not the issue.
So
I could get the metal.
You also notice the predominant metal here that you could get in vast quantities is silver, which I don't think I have to explain to you why that's a bad idea.
But werewolf hunting with a silver Gatling gun
would be incredible.
Zilpip's trying to figure out how to make the cool and keep the metal to hold together. Oh no.
That being said, Zilpip thinks better of it. No modern tech here.
Sarah Palin, the fucking
werewolves.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just changes the timeline so there's no
Drone
fucking
strike 'em,
werewolves in the
dude.
future.
All right, Sen. So you're doing red racing stripes with yellow. What was
Like
yellow
yellow.
lightings? All right. Give me a. We'll call this 2 spellcraft checks.
Spellcraft, not my craft paint.
I'll take craft paint. That's fair.
I was about to say he's painting.
Listen, with what this does, it could go either way.
Oh god.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Don't worry.
Can I aid another with spellcraft?
Do you really?
My last
Do you
level.
want to help? Yeah, go ahead. Actually, you
Yeah,
know what? I specifically would actually love if Hyder could help in this situation. Yes, that works.
Ider's trying to learn my
Let's-
how this works.
Let's get a spellcraft check from you as well, Eider.
26.
All right. Eider, have you washed your hands since your workings and collecting those shavings? Like wiped off your hands, you figure?
Oh, probably. I mean,
He laid in the snow.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. All right. Okay. Okay. As 32 and 26. Damn. As
I have a plus 13 to painting.
you begin to paint the airship, the red coloration, and then following the lining with the yellow. Eider kind of begins to try and focus his magic, trying to understand what spells are being crafted into the ship as the paint goes through, giving a better understanding to what he's dealing with. You watch as the airship seems to almost begin to slightly buckle. The wood seems to start to pull in on itself, and the metallic paint seems to almost either sink the wood in or disintegrate what it can't pull and retract as the moisture's taken out. The red metal racing stripe, as you get about halfway, starts to peel off as a solid strap, and then as it starts to peel back, you see as the wood itself starts to crack and pull with it. As it does, you open up a small window and can see Kez and Ned on the other side playing with the goslings.
What? Who messed with red?
I think it's burning the wood.
That
Okay.
never happened.
Kez and Ned, you now can see Sen and Eider just looking at you.
Looking immediately to Eider.
I'm just
Sten's so lost. He's like, this has never happened before.
Go clean yourself up.
Look at the splintered wood. That's kind of still slightly pulling a little bit, but as Sen has stopped, the metal has stopped kind of pulling back and stopped peeling in a sense.
Am I gonna have to start? All right, listen, hold on, guys. It's mending time.
Alright, as you walk over, and start casting mending. Go ahead, sorry, Eider.
Sen, can you paint it to look like metal?
What mean?
Well, like, I think for a moment and like clang on my armor. I was like, paint it to look kind of like this.
I look at the metal. I look at the wood. And I really think hard about this.
The metal is
I don't know.
green.
He's like, bro, I don't know about this.
The ship is brown, but the ship just pulled up everywhere the red touched.
Sen think the wood doesn't believe. As I look at Eider. Because
think-
he has no understanding of Lyrium or what might have just happened.
You don't believe?
The wood doesn't.
Oh, the wood doesn't believe. Maybe Zilpip's talking to the wood, huh?
Alright, Zilpip, turn around.
Wait, hold on.
Alright, Silpip, I want you
Zilpip,
to...
turn around. Let's paint the metal green.
Silpip, roll me a diplomacy check. Let's see if the wood responds.
I mean,
Okay.
Sen, you know.
Is Kesmanok in the room?
Right.
Yes. I mean, hey.
What wood is Zilpip talking to?
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
that's what I was saying, man.
Hey, I mean, Ned's a druid. Nate said maybe Ned could talk to the wood and make it believe. I don't know. Ned, just go along with it, please.
There's a reason Trees is in my last name.
Oh, Lord. Granted, as far as I know, there's not actually a way to talk to, like, wood? Like, lumber?
I
Because it's
argue
dead.
if you spellcraft and combine speak with dead with speak with plants.
If you're willing to do the weirdest spell ever made.
You can't. Hey, listen. You want to talk to someone's ship? That's a good way to do it.
26.
As you kind of look at the and say this, the ship does not seem to respond in the slightest.
Rude.
Can
They're
I
ignoring me now.
can I study my red paint that I had on the ship for any irregularities?
Yeah. I'll just say this is we can either do the profession or I'll take a knowledge for if you have knowledge paint or painter.
I do. I have paint everywhere I possibly can.
That's usually how it goes with painters.
25.
25. It's normal colorium. There's nothing wrong with it. The metal's the same as you've done on all of your paintings, on all of your weapons, and all of your materials. Nothing's different.
Never seen destroy ship before.
Maybe it's what you were painting that's the problem. Because you were painting fire on a wooden ship.
Well, let's make it a little more sturdy.
The splintered wood still kind
I
of
think
slightly leaning out.
What
You
if
guys-
you paint a big patch over this hole here?
They're like Looney Tunes. Fucking.
That's why I said try and paint it like metal, see if it works.
Alright, this is a job for blue colorium.
Zilpip kind of cuts his hand through the air, and a small little rift forms, and he reaches his hand in, and he pulls out a like cartoonishly large sheet of metal that just keeps getting longer the longer he pulls it out.
Before that, you eat like a can of spinach, right?
Yes, for sure. No, my strength is already higher than yours probably will ever be.
I mean, that makes
Um,
sense.
That's a challenge.
Yeah.
No,
Little
I
1
mean,
foot tall
I
Zilpip.
I mean, listen, I get the overpoweredness that Zilpip is. Trust me,
No.
I think he's
It's
better at
actually
everything.
it's really not that big. I don't know if you're going Marshall. It's only 26, but
It's really not that big. That's the last thing Kez wants to hear right now.
don't worry, it's not that big. Yeah, pulls a bunch of iron out, and it starts floating through the air. And I'm going to coat the hole, just give it a nice little iron plating around it.
And just to be clear, so you are basically pushing the iron onto the frame of the ship.
Yeah, through like here. I'll message the super fine details, but I'm giving it a
No, I don't need a
Yeah.
spell. Like it's not a spell for that. Just making sure. Okay, I need to roll a d100 for that.
Okay.
I'm thinking Eider's lyrium has infected the entire ship.
Oh god.
So we're
Well,
going.
lyrium doesn't interact with calorium, though. I just tested that, so...
Yep, you are correct.
You know, it does when you're not it doesn't when you're not a troll. When trolls use chlorium, it's a little different.
Alright, Zilpip, I have some. Thankfully, you're the only person this could happen to and actually survive. Zilpip, we're going plane hopping.
Oh,
Incredible! Oh, sick! Where are we going?
Oh, I get to choose. Oh no,
Plane
85.
of
Never
law.
mind. We're gone.
plane
I'm
of
wrong.
law. Plane of
Do I
law.
get to choose?
Nope, I was wrong. I was one off. It's a reroll.
Oh.
I want the plane of law. I want to go to the courthouse.
Dearly beloved Zilpip, you stand here today accused of fuckery in the first degree.
You're
Have you
accused
played?
of showing up in my courthouse.
Accused of fuckery in the first degree. Naturally,
Zilpip's
yes.
every hair on your body, Zilpip, instantly falls out.
Oh, Incredible. This is
As-
how I wanted it to be anyway.
As the iron seems to slightly rust and almost
Wait, actually-
slightly disintegrate away from as it comes into contact with the ship.
I whisper to Kez, I've never seen somebody so smooth.
I'm silky smooth.
This lasts, give me a second.
Until he grows his hair back?
13 months.
Yeah,
You are permanent. Yeah, you are like hairless completely for 13 months.
I make a little illusion around myself to give myself my silky smooth silver hair again.
Those who interact with it will be allowed to make a will save to be able to tell if it's fake. But from line of sight, it doesn't appear to be fake.
Huh. I wonder if that made the illusion fail. Maybe he's always been bald.
Can I get a read on what the fuck is happening here?
Yeah. Give me a spellcraft check for this.
Cool.
Send
Okay.
thing ship is anti-missile.
Oh yes.
Correct. Well, he pammed me, so I'm gonna assume that's a yes. Oh no. And suddenly Kaz seems turned on by the idea of a bald Zilpip. No.
No, I certainly do not.
Joking, don't worry. No. From what you can tell, Zilpip, and what you gather is this ship is set up with some sort of anti-magic, like, design to the wood itself being specifically ingrained with it. Your guess is whoever designed this ship was intending to give the party who would inhabit it, or themselves who would inhabit it, an ability to fight off wizards, such to your caliber. This is craftsmanship you've never seen in this age. Like, this doesn't make sense that this would have been made in this time period.
Interesting. Where did you guys get this ship?
Won it in a prize?
From who?
It was part of our earnings from Greg.
Interesting.
Zilpip, the last time you remember a ship being confiscated in town was right before the siege happened, and it was supposedly taken as a debt from a dwarf with brown hair and brown skin.
Sen only seen one similar ship in world.
Yeah, and does that strike the...
The old noggin?
that-
Yes, that immediately
Yeah.
clicks in your head of that the only other individual that
Alright.
you know would be Bardrus.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. At least it's not some actual person in this time period.
This ship fight back just like Nudie ship.
Nudie? Sorry?
Naked
Nudie
ship.
ship?
Yes, naked ship.
First of all, where can I get my tickets?
Weird Genasi, name, very impeccable mustache, Pierre.
Interesting. Okay. So, we can't really adjust this ship. Not in a meaningful way. I didn't even get a check, did I? To do this.
What, for the, to be able to tell that it was, it had an anti-magic thing?
To put the iron on.
You did. That was the spell. That was what the spellcraft was basically. Was to see if you could overwhelm his spell. And it did not work. Yeah.
I didn't roll spellcraft.
Yep. I just had you. Oh.
You had me roll to see that there was anti-magic. You didn't have me roll.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Roll. Well, that was. Yeah. Fair enough. If go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Well, to be fair from the understanding, it's the wood, right?
Huh?
That's anti-magic from what Zilpip saw?
Yeah.
So I can still do the pipes and stuff, I just can't do the wood.
As you touch as the iron touches the hull of the ship, it disintegrates almost immediately, rusting and then turning to a fine powder. As you try Zilpip. You are not able to overwhelm the spell.
Interesting.
Performance anxiety happens to the best of us.
Am I able to mend the wood back together though?
As you cast mending from inside, the wood does not seem to have any effect. Mend does not work on the ship.
Because a few sessions ago I was able to mend the sails, but I guess so it's different.
Yes, the sails are different.
Okay.
Well,
So our ship has been irreparably damaged because you wanted to paint it.
It's got a window now.
No, well, I've not.
where were your naysayings before the ship got painted?
Oh, well, listen.
I mean,
As you
You
have
didn't
this
seem to have a
conversation
better
through the
idea.
hole.
Listen, I didn't approve of this. That's for sure.
no, you never approve of anything because you're a stick in the mud.
I like to be.
Okay, you're gonna walk over. Wait, you're gonna what? Alright, as Eider walks over, or kind of leans over and kind of grabs, as the arguing is going on, taps Zilpip kind of on the shoulder. Kind of like I feel you kind of gesture at first, you think, Zilpip, and then you feel the magic disappear, Zilpip. Or as your illusion goes away, as Eider just smiles at you.
Oh, I back away. He can steal hair. Oh god.
Either.
Sen walks away.
Do you want to play this game? Really?
Yeah, just the once.
Currently
Just
bald.
what?
He said just one.
Just once. Okay. That's what I'll give you. I'll give you once. I can do nothing to this ship.
Nope.
I am going to go relax and build a fireplace in the engine room to put my paintings over.
As you
Enjoy your
look,
magical.
I say-
Paint emporium.
as you look through the window, you see into the engine in the deck that you just tore a slight hole into. So now you have at least a window to even see outside. Kind of like you know.
Incredible. Yes, we love to see it.
As Sen leaves, kind of as Zilpip climbs down and goes back up, climbing the ladder and heading into the ship. Kind of irritated as he takes his paintings with him, heading down below. I imagine at this point Kez making a quick escape up to the second deck towards his room to avoid Zilpip at all being near him.
No, actually, Keznok will not even stay on the ship. He will leave.
Oh, you climbing out of the hole when you see Zilpip walk out? Or walk
No,
off?
I'm not going to climb out the hole. I'm just going to leave the normal part of the ship.
Okay. As you kind of pass by, heading up, passing by Zilpip, you climb out, kind of as you see him heading down below where or you just left Ned. As you head out of the ship, a few moments, just about this amount of time it takes, you see a Sen kind of comes running back up. Sen, you got the agreement from the contract what you had requested from the merchant.
Perfect. Send fix own mistakes.
Oh no.
As you look over kind of from the distance and see a large giant with long white hair almost down to his stomach kind of flowing off the sides of his shoulders, coming jogging down with what looks to be a very large toolkit. As you see him coming over, he as he finally catches up after a few more moments, he looks at Sen, kind of breathing heavy as he leans over, dropping his like woodworker's kit, and looks over at you and goes, "Don't ever ask someone to keep up with you again. Oh God, I think I lost my glass blowing kit. Oh, halfway. Oh, here. Oh, didn't even know you could jump a bridge." Oh.
Then he'll nod and then say, "Send go get glass blower kit," and he'll go running back to find it.
You head back, finding the like still under construction bridge, managing to grab it where it managed to kind of almost fall, landing on a couple of beams of wood that's still kind of setting up to be supported for where the stone's going to be laid later for the bridge. Managed to bring it back a few moments later.
I think Sen's learning he could make a really lucrative business just selling red coloring boots at this point.
Right. As you do this, Kez and Ida, as you're standing out there with this guy, he looks over at you, and kind of as he stands up tall, he stands about 25 feet tall, and kind of looks at you for a moment, Kez, and goes, as he looks down, and goes, "So, you like part of one of the clans trying to go out and prove yourself, youngin'?"
I ain't trying to prove myself of anything, sir.
I don't know if you want a job. You don't look very strong, but I'd be happy to have you amongst the boys. We can use an extra hand if you ever want to come work for the woodwalkers.
No, I've got my work cut out for me.
I couldn't help but ask. I mean, any fire giant manages to get themselves a snowbeard slave with adamantine armor. Gotta be worth something. As he just kind of looks at Eider. As Sen comes running up, though, kind of with the glass blowing kit, he kind of grabs it out and begins to shape the hole, kind of carving into it as you hear inside the sounds of hammering coming from Zilpip as he works to put his little fireplace into the engine room, as Ned just kind of watches with his gooselings.
I'll rearrange the nest and make sure there's enough room that Zilpip can sit down in it too.
As you kind of expand it out, as you kind of sit down with the goslings all curled up in your lap and watch, kind of creating a space for Zilpip for when he's done. Zilpip, you see as Ned seems to purposely expand the nest out and kind of tap it for you, as he looks over at you for a moment.
Thank you, Ned. You're one of the
It's
good ones.
Comfortable as sticks and grass and hay can be.
You know, it's been a hot minute since I've slept on those. It'll be a welcome change. Tell me, what do you know of magic? I've heard you're a caster, though I've seen you use none of it.
I know, what the natures have taught me. I don't have a whole lot necessarily offensive, but I'm really good at I can tell you which way north is if you were to ask me.
Yeah? Which way is it?
I will cast no direction.
As you do, you look over kind of to the basically straight ahead of you right now with where you're sitting and how the ship's kind of angled to kind of out to point outwards towards the city and towards the exit. You look off to basically straight in front of you, and that is north exactly.
No, I'm already looking that way.
Well, that is a handsome feat of magic.
But I have some stuff I haven't gotten to use yet. I recently learned how to create magical thorns on my quarterstaff here.
Did you?
That
sounds incredibly useful.
As well as keeping us hidden if we're in the natures and outdoors.
Well, what do you know of this Eider fellow?
Well, he almost killed the geese.
He certainly did kill the geese.
Oh, well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't really wrapped my mind around the fact that, not being alive and all.
Right. Well, they are in every way that matters.
True. And I'll like pat the big one.
all you know about him is that he killed your children.
I mean, I haven't gotten as close to Eider as like Dom has.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he has some magical stuff going on. I don't know a whole lot about it, honestly.
That's fair. The geese seem happy. I'm very glad they are, and they're hatched and active. I'm tired. I think I'm going to nestle up into this nest and go to sleep.
As you
If you need me, wake me.
Just one last question. You know, I know how animals in nature can be and all. They're not going to randomly decide they want to eat me, are they?
No, my friend. They are quite willing to do actually whatever you ask.
They seem to nod at that.
Well, enjoy your nap.
Thank you.
As you kind of turn over and kind of fall asleep, Ned, you feel as the goslings kind of seem to snuggle up to you and begin to quietly make a snore. As I found out, geese apparently do snore. It's very horrible. It sounds like the slight sounds of honking, or at least that's what I'm pretty sure that's what I'm hearing at night. As you kind of hear the slight sounds of the snores from the geese, the light sounds of the guy over on the side kind of like hammering and like not at all noticing you lot being asleep, as he can't see you off at the corner you're at, as he just goes slamming into the wood, cutting and splintering it to make a clean cut, shooting chunks of wood into the room. He kind of begins to mount what looks to be some really heavy glass and a kind of semi-metal frame. Leaving Kez and Eider as well as Sen out standing in front of the ship as he finishes up and kind of looks at you three and goes, "Alright, well, I've been paid, so good luck." Kind of looks over at Kez and goes, "Again, young man, offers out there if you change your mind. We'll man you up a bit, get you some real big muscles on you. You're always welcome amongst the shipyards." As he kind of like turns and starts walking away.
Well, you guys enjoy the rest of your night. I'm gonna go find a room at an inn in town.
Kez just turns and starts walking away. Alright.
Send hopes he does okay. Frost Giant ends weird.
Well, I don't fancy my chances out there. Also, I really don't want to leave Zilpip unattended with their ship and Kez's bedroom for that long.
So you think only wood on ship fight magic?
I mean, it seems like it. The pipes didn't. Actually, while I'm around, might as well start looking at the. Just like Ida just starts mumbling to himself as like starts like poring over like the wood to like look it over. Being a little bit anti-magical himself.
Hmm. As you take a look to kind of take a second and check out the wood, there is something that finally kind of strikes you as strange. As Kez kind of heads off into town, you notice that the wood itself seems to be material. You've never seen material like this before. This wood looks to be like, well, it is a brown, normally like proofed wood. Like it's meant for a sailing ship. It looks the right color. Everything fits. You notice that for some reason, as you kind of like, just even poking it and kind of tapping it with a small like dagger or workman's tool seems to only almost give a little bit of a golden like electrical spark off of the wood for a moment. Not in a hurting way, but you notice that it seems to negate any sort of damage that you try to actually do to the ship itself.
That's really weird. Try and like press like one of the calorium coins against it and see if like it does the same bit.
As you do, you start to see smoking kind of behind the coin. As you kind of pull the coin away, you see that it perfectly brands the coin onto the ship, onto the wood itself.
Alright, so this thing is anti-calorium, whatever the fuck it is.
Abomination ship.
It might be that it's like fixed in what it's supposed to be, so calorium shouldn't work on it, but tries to. I don't know.
Anything that negate holy metal is abomination.
That's a weird one. I agree. We can't scrap it, unfortunately. We really do need the airship.
Send no longer enter ship. Evil ship.
What if we help you on board the ship?
No. Send by new ship.
That is not a paltry sum by any means. As Sen mentions this, kind of contemplating this conversation, looking over the ship for a moment. We're gonna cut away from you two for a sec. As we jump to Kez for a moment. Kez, as you head into town towards the only inn you knew of was the Adventuring Guild itself. Back at the academy. So as you kind of head that general direction and eventually manage to get up there, you do see someone that kind of catches your attention. As there is a dwarf that seems to be kind of walking about at the guild, looking around, looking as if he's looking for the help desk on the bottom floor. As he kind of looks confused, the giants seem to be speaking to him. His dark brown hair, slightly brownish and tannish skin, darker eyes, and very dark beard. He seems to have kind of grown out a good bit. This individual seems to be filled with like little bits of copper doodads and gemstones and such. He just sticks out as like either a very wealthy and eccentric merchant or a very stupid noble. As you kind of see him walking about, but he doesn't look like any snowbeard you've ever seen before. He kind of looks over at you for a second as he kind of spots you coming in and goes, yes, giant. Do you understand me? As he speaks in giant.
Yeah.
You fire giant.
Yeah.
Me snowbeard.
Yeah.
Me not, as he looks about, know where to find adventure.
You want to know where to find adventure?
Kind of looks at you for a second with a little bit of confusion in his face and goes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's an expedition going on at the end of the month. That should be a nice adventure.
Kind of looks at you trying to like expedition. He kind of repeats the word multiple times, not really understanding and looking at you with confusion. He switches over to common and goes, "Do you speak common by chance?"
Yeah, I do.
Oh, thank the gods! Oh, I've been dealing with so many giants, and my dialect seems to be slightly off these days. Took a nasty hit to the head after I jumped off an airship. My name's Bargis. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Bargis.
Or have we met? I don't. May have. Not yet?
I don't recognize you.
Not yet. This must be the first meeting. That means... So you were saying expedition. Now I understand. That makes more sense. I thought you were saying spaghetti, which I couldn't figure out what that meant.
I don't know what spaghetti is either.
Exactly. And it looks at you and with like a straight like gleam in his eyes, as if he's like trying not to explain or have to explain something. He goes,
But yeah, there's an expedition at the end of the month. There's going to be I believe the project's around building a road from this town to the Cobalt City. Big, massive project. They're hiring adventurers.
So that individual hasn't found me yet. That makes more sense. Like a game of evil tag. Ugh. Are you getting a room here by chance?
That's the intention.
Oh, thank the gods. Do you mind if you do my talking for me? I'm happy to pay, but I don't seem to understand anything I say here.
Yeah, I hope you understand they'll probably think of you as my slave.
What's new at this point? Just tell them that I want a separate room. And if they ask you to pay, I'll pay you later. I'll pay you back when we get back to the rooms.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. Sure.
He nods and as he taps his coin purse, that's quite large on his hip, as he looks at you and goes, "Hey, I appreciate that. By the way, have you ran into a fellow named Eider?"
Say that again? I didn't hear a part of that.
Have you ran into a fellow named Eider? I'm not a bounty hunter.
Alright.
He looks at you and as he sees the slight concern, goes, No, I'm not bounty hunter. Not like that. Let me explain. So, at this point, if I'm understanding correctly the events that are supposed to happen, there's supposed to be an airship in the docks around here. It should get broken either today or tomorrow. Which means I'm supposed to show up to help, but that's only if someone's not there. And I'm guessing it's the same person you're avoiding.
You might be correct, depending on who this person you're trying to avoid is.
Short white hair, thinks of himself as a god.
Well, he doesn't have hair anymore at the moment, but...
Very big god complex, but
Something
short
similar.
personality.
And very short personality.
Well, don't worry. I knew his wife for a little while. There's not much down there, so you don't have much to fear. It's appropriate for size, as they say. It might be intelligent by your by this age's standards, with that in mind. I don't know if that's come to concept yet. Anyways, if that's the case, then I have something for you that Eider will need, and he kind of like starts rummaging into his backpack before going up to the desk. As the gal behind the desk, about 10 or 20 feet into this first floor, kind of stands there, just kind of looking at you a lot, but then going back to her paperwork as she just kind of occasionally looks up to see if you are walking over. As Barge kind of pulls out a piece of heavy leather with a bunch of ink written with scrolls scrolled across it, he looks up at you and goes, "Give him this. It should explain what he needs to do and how to fix the thing. For God's sake, do not let the one that's bothering you and chasing you around mess with the ship."
Yeah, I'll do my best. I don't want him there in the first place.
If you want to get rid of him, there's a really easy way.
I'm not making any deals, unfortunately.
No deals.
Greater beings. Okay.
So, between me and you, as he kind of like ushers for you to lean down towards him, he's only about only about 5 feet tall.
Is there like a table anywhere that we can just sit down and have a conversation?
This kind of waiting room on this floor, like a waiting area. Up above on the second floor would be where there's a lot more like open restaurants and areas to sit down and relax.
Let's go find a table before we start talking.
Oh, sure, yeah. As he follows you up to the tables kind of set off to the side. Not in a dark corner, as much of the guild itself is lit, either through the silver or some sort of silver lighting, or monsters that have been kind of modified to turned into light sources themselves. As you find a small table off to the side, though, not many people seem to be about at this or around the floor at this point. The guild itself doesn't seem to have many adventurers registered for what you were able to tell previously, given its new establishment. But as you two kind of find a place to sit down, he looks up at you and goes, "Yeah, as I was saying, he's there's this woman he's looking for. What's her name? Something Ijin. Frodogen? Yeah, that was it. That Frostgen, something like that. I think it's Frodogen, but if he says Frostgen, yeah, that's probably it. He's gonna be looking for her. I guarantee it. If you can send him on a wild chase for her, he'll leave you alone. And the only place you could find her is a place that, well, he ain't gonna be coming out of anytime soon." So.
And where would that be?
How familiar are you with the afterlife?
Well, I do serve Ella Ugbo.
Yeah, I've died multiple times. It don't mean that I'm an expert.
That's fair. Never experienced the afterlife myself.
Alright, allow me to explain. Imagine chaos. But imagine Chaos decide to go and fuck a Tarask. Those giant things that they tell you stories about that devastated entire nations with a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Take that and give it children. That's what you got down below. So don't do evil, as they say. The only place that he's going to find his beloved is going to be in one of those castles. And her clan does exist. She doesn't exist yet. She shouldn't, at least for another 1,000 years. But he doesn't know that. And I doubt he's ever going to figure that out. And when he does, he might decide to wait. Just a thought.
So his love is somewhere in the afterlife.
Yeah, let's call it that. Let's put it that way. I won't lie, you do look miraculously similar to her.
Yikes.
And, I'm not, she's a bit more effeminate, but the muscle you have and the, size you have, it's about identical. Her hair was longer in a different color. She's also blue. Otherwise, though, structure-wise, yeah. I think that's why he might be showing you favor. So.
Well, I appreciate the information. If I do anything with it, and it does work, I appreciate the assistance. Let's go get that room. Unless you want to eat something first. You look hungry.
I'll deal with it in my room. I need to get some sleep and some thoughts. Also, you should probably take that letter to your friends before you turn in for the night. My guesstimation, as long as that doesn't happen, you should be able to get there and back without issue, and then that should get the ship fixed. By morning, you lot can continue your quest. I assume you're taking to go kill the necromancers.
Yeah, that's the idea. Well, let me go get our rooms paid for, and I'll head on over and get this delivered.
He nods as he kind of follows along with you. As you head down and negotiate down to about a silver piece for a room for the night, he kind of, as the reception hands you over a couple of keys, you kind of heading past her and around her. She stops paying attention almost immediately after your business is done, not being paid enough to care. Almost immediately, Barges pulls out 2 silver pieces and hands them to you and smiles as he pats you on the side and goes, "Good luck. He's harmless, don't worry, but he's also a really useful tool. So if you end up deciding to keep him around, he'll be valuable." As he kind of looks at you, assuming you understand who he's referring to, and just kind of then nods and walks off down the hallway to find his room.
Yep, and I'll say, safe travels to you, Barges. Glad to have met you.
He nods and goes, "You're much kinder than that dumb fella." And gets real pissy about his tattoos. As he walks around the corner and goes into a door, closing it behind him.
Yeah, alright, I guess I'll head over to this ship so I can deliver Ader his letter.
During this, so as Sen heads off into town to go find himself an airship, I assume, and a room to sleep in for the night, Ader, you are left basically by yourself outside the ship. You said you wanted to check out the pipes?
Yeah, just going through, continuing to study the ship a little bit more.
Yeah.
Now that I have some preternatural understanding.
Mm-hmm. As you go about it, looking in the ship, something you immediately catch with the copper pipe things. You realized this before, but it seems the ship is designed in a way that the only magical component is the inner lining of the copper, or the copper and bronze piping throughout the entirety of the airship that seems to be designed to attract the magic itself. And I'm giving this to you because you have about an hour and a half of looking over. I figure your crafting ability at this point is capable enough to get this. So, as you kind of look about it and take your time with it, it does seem to almost suck in the magic into the pipe itself. And that's what seems to pull it in towards those that mesh that seems to cause the ship to move and propel itself with what seems nothing more than magical force. That is propelled out specifically 2 large pipes that come out as an exhaust on the back of the airship. Though as you go to the back of the airship, you do not see the exhaust. They only seem to be actually visible from the inside of the ship itself, being able to tell them from there. It seems that even going up and grabbing them from the outside, it's almost feels like there's nothing there unless you really clamp on. The material is seemingly designed to not be seen. But if you want to give me a use magic device or spellcraft for or any craft check that you think is relevant for something more specific, that's what you gather just with the base hour.
Okay. I've got engineering, arcana, spellcraft.
I'll take engineering. That works.
First low roll. Fucking Christ. 12.
Ooh. The only thing you from all this that you gather is that this ship was designed not for. It doesn't seem to make sense for this age. You understand magic enough to know that it is plentiful in the world. Like that's one of the grandest things. This is for you. This is what your family has always talked about. This is a time of great prosperity. There are stories about supposed times way ancient that talked about like where no magic existed. But nowadays, in comparison, the magic is way greater, and that's due to the giants and the dragons, supposedly, and their just existence. Or so the rumor goes. This doesn't make sense for this ship as you kind of look at it. The ship almost seems to be designed to gather as if it was working on some, like, less. Like there was expected to be no magic or very little magic around the world. It just seems kind of strange to you as it doesn't make any sense. All the other airships around, as you look about, are designed to almost gather on these crystals. And these crystals cast continuous spells to cause the airship to move. This only works on a simple propulsion system that's just raw magic force, similar to your spellfire ability.
Imagine just something like similar, like being very weird, to like living next to like a massive river and have like somebody that has like this weird setup that is designed to conserve water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of the idea. To you, the only thing that makes sense is whoever this person that made this ship either believed magic was going to disappear from the world, which is phenomenally there's no way that could actually happen. That's like a long a thought that would take so much power that's not ever been seen in the world. Or the individual was just crazy, overly afraid of casters. As that the only other thing kind of makes sense is that the ship seems not designed to be against casters, but to protect against them to a certain degree. And avoid AoE random AoE effects or random AoE like fireballs hitting you and such.
Yeah, I think particularly being a dwarf and the main major military forces are the fucking ice wizard sorcerers that tracks.
Yep. So as you kind of look over this, spending the whole hour doing this and going through the pipes and looking at it. Eventually you hear as Kez comes walking kind of down and towards, I imagine at that point kind of calling for Ida or looking around for you.
Excuse me. Yeah, pop out in my head, and kind of shimmy down the gangplank. Hey, you back?
Only for a short while. I'm going back to the inn, but I'd forgotten to drop off some items that I picked up earlier. I bring out the gauntlets for Dom. I bring out the sword, the scimitar for Ned, and I bring out the hammer for Ida. But around the hammer, there is a letter along with it. Just here to drop some things off. I'm going back to the inn just to sleep. I don't want to be sleeping on this ship.
All right. Kind of eye the letter up, because I don't. It's not hidden by any means. It's just kind of
no. I am not hiding it from you.
Gotcha. And it's all right. Just give you a weird look, just completely omitting the letter that's just hanging from the hammer.
Yeah, as he kind of drops everything down. Kez, are you just turning and immediately leaving after that?
Yes.
Okay. Without a heartbeat moment after, just looks at you, kind of gives a nod and then turns and walks off.
I just awkwardly shuffle because I've got a large size scimitar. Two fucking massive fist gauntlets.
I mean, you could just set him down.
That's outside the airship, just sitting there. He's got to bring them inside so they're not stolen by some random person.
I thought I went on the airship.
No, Ida was outside because looking in the pipes and going through and checking the ship. Yeah.
I thought the pipes were inside the ship that he was looking at. All right. Oh well.
Yeah, as Eider one by one slowly brings up the items, kind of grab the gauntlets having to be one at a time as well because these things are just massively heavy and just awkward to carry up. Carrying two of them doesn't strap well with the adamantine armor on as well. And as you kind of look at it, Eider, and the way that like taking off the adamantine armor, it's just not worth it. The time it would take you. So going one by one, you get the last items. It takes you about 10 minutes to get all of it in. But as you do, leaving it on the captain's, the first floor for the crew, and just kind of leaning them up against a wall up to the side. Yeah.
Like, I crack into the letter.
As you do, it reads, Dear Eider, at this point, you're probably having issues with the airship. I know this, and I expect this. Now, my guess is you're still trying to figure out how to fix the problem, or you were stupid enough to put a foreign object on the outside of the airship, or even worse, a glass window into it. Well, I've got good news. There is a single button that was designed for this airship to basically cast a mending on itself, only designed to fix the airship. It is hidden to the eye if you don't know what you're looking for, but it is a single button on a simple pipe that is supposed to be looking like a lever, but if you press it, it will activate. Any foreign objects that aren't part of the ship naturally will be expelled if part of its hull, and it will repair itself almost immediately. Don't worry, you can be inside while this happens. It shouldn't kill you unless you stuck your hand in a hole like an idiot during the process. Good luck, and well tidings, the one who invented this ship. P.S. If Zilpip is reading this over your shoulder, I recommend kicking him off the ship. Yes, this was at you. I remember you. And that's all it seems to read.
Just slowly turn, make sure Zilpip isn't over my shoulder.
He is not. He's snoring still down below deck.
I just kind of shrug and say, any foreign object not on the ship, eh? Well, Zilpip doesn't own it. Let's see if this works.
As you go to press the button, looking around the pipe, kind of digging around for a moment as you run your hand up it, and for a second, finally finding the littlest portion button on there that you managed to hit, realizing now that it makes sense that it was there, but it didn't seem to be obvious at the time. As you kind of press just slightly, it indents a little bit, and you see as a glow amongst the ship begins to happen. The sounds of cracking and popping kind of all around the outside of the airship begins to happen, or begins to sound off as the smashing of glass can be heard. Ned, as you kind of are sitting there with your goslings kind of laid in your lap, enjoying the little fire pit that has been built, you watch as the fireplace with the paintings on it falls through the airship. And gets basically kind of falls out, slamming into the airship next to it as you hear the crumbling of brick on it. The glass where the window was kind of falling out, and the wood repairing itself as it shatters off, metal peeling off of it as the colorium that was painted on peels off. The ship repairs itself almost perfectly. Even as you go look later. Either the copper, where your copper and bronze tools had slightly melted onto the little grid, it even seemed to clear that, re-establishing the frayed wires that were previously there. As the ship kind of finishes doing this, I assume going to look to see if Zilpip's down there still?
Yeah.
As you head down, Zilpip is still tucked in the nest asleep, snoring quietly. As you see Ned kind of sitting there looking, I imagine, surprised at the sudden disappearance of the fireplace.
Very confused, yes.
Ship's fixed.
I see that?
Just give a thumbs up and leave.
Back up. As you lot kind of begin to spend your time looking about the ship, or relaxing about the ship, kind of contemplating it, Ned snuggling in with the gooselings, Zilpip fast asleep, not realizing that his paintings are now outside on the ground. Eider upstairs, I imagine now looking for any extra switches potentially throughout the ship to try and figure out any other things that he might not know.
Yeah, I'm going across. It's this thing with a fine tooth comb now.
Yep. Kesdanok off in the distance, enjoying his personal room with the quiet, the absolute silence, a comfortable bed actually sized for him, with the simplest of things that you need: a chest, a little armoire, as well as what looked to be fresh food already waiting for you when you got there. As you all begin to relax and kind of settle in for the night, going about your business, we'll end there for tonight. We thank you all for watching, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time, where the party will probably be taking on the Necromancer quest like they wanted to. See you then!